All right, guys, we are here to celebrate something I didn't think would ever happen this year. And that's Ronald Jones scoring a fucking touchdown.
Ronald Jones will get beat. Ronald Jones gets by. Ronald Jones may go all the way. Being chased from behind. The Jones have it up. Still on his feet. Ronald Jones, 98-yard touchdown.
Pat, I don't want to bury the lead here. I mean, Ronald Jones scored a touchdown. I mean, when you run pure, you run pure. I mean, my God.
Unbelievable, man. Daily Rojo. You love to see it.
Did your mentions had to rival like when you won Best Ball Mania 3 when Rojo scored? Like it had to be pretty close.
It was close. It was honestly close.
Did you roll some of that money into showdown slates?
I didn't. I took the day off from football, but what a cherry on top to see Ronald Jones score. That was delightful.
Yeah.
Number 2, by the way.
We, as everyone knows, that we were just talking before we went live, how like still bizarre and surreal this is, pausing this stream on Monday night and then picking it back up here for the first time and just thinking how much has transpired since then, the emotional roller coaster of that. So I don't know, Pat, I definitely want to give you the floor. Obviously, massive congratulations for officially winning Best Ball Mania 3, $2 million. Got to raise some glasses here, but Pat, everyone wants to know, how have you been feeling? What is this week been like?
Yeah, thanks, guys. It was horrible on Monday, right? It was just like with Damar's health and everything, like it was not exactly something it's like one of these things where finally by the time Thursday rolls around and we start to get good reports on Damar's health, those were coming out like almost simultaneously with the idea that maybe this game wouldn't resume. And so that's when you're starting to feel like, okay, I can, maybe start to think about what this means in a real way a little bit more. But then also like I had to like figure out like an accountant and stuff. So there was this like period where I didn't have any real idea of like what was going to happen, but I was in first place at the time of the end of the game. So I was like, I need to plan, almost like contingency plan for what happens if I win and like get some stuff set up. And Brittany's like, don't get ahead of yourself. I'm like, I'm not getting ahead of myself. I'm like trying to figure out like to make sure things kind of can hit the ground running.
Trying not to be behind, right?
You're trying not to be behind. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it was like this, obviously it was an insane week for everybody. So, I was just part of that. And I feel for everyone who had Bills and Bengals because like, I'd be gutted if I was in that situation. So it's just like one of these, just insane. The whole thing is just like so unbelievable and unlikely. So I don't know. It was just a lot of feelings.
Sean was the first person to bring up that side of it to me, and I was like, man, that would suck. We've been on that side of a sweat where it doesn't break your way, but like if you're on a sweat where you don't even get to see your players play, like that sucks. But
of course,
I hadn't even thought about it because we were all pulling for you so much. I mean, and obviously the Damar Hamlin thing then overshadowed everything right away, right? But and importantly so. But it was, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, there's a lot of people that had Bills and Bengals that didn't even get to see their guys play at the end, it's just wild. The whole thing's wild.
Yeah. And I know there are a lot of people in the ship chasing community. Chris G here. I know our guy, AC, some guys that had chance at some pretty big scores with Bengals Bills stuff. And like, it wasn't, just a bit, right? Like we talked all off season about that Bills Bengals game. A lot of people stacked it up. A lot of people had teams that made it there. And so, like you said, I mean, I think that to me is really the theme of all of this, of just like so many conflicting emotions. And also like there was no, with the NFL, right? They're trying to come up with an equitable way to handle the playoff seeding and the implications of this. And like the truth is, both for the fantasy operators and all this, like there just is no equitable way to do this. Like, I think that you just have to acknowledge that there's no perfectly fair solution. And we can say it, like it stinks that some people were on the wrong side of it.
For sure. Yeah.
But we're here to celebrate.
We're here to celebrate that here.
And I mean, stacking that game up was sharp, like there was it certainly seemed like it was going to be.
It is. Wasn't it like the most touchdown passes between two quarterbacks in the regular season or something like that? Like it was everything it shaped up to be going into the game.
To ever meet each other in a regular season game?
I think it was something like that.
Sounds right.
I don't remember. I'm repeating something I heard secondhand, so that might not be exactly
Leone,
right. But
what is like the boots on the ground like? I know you don't leave your house, but what was the atmosphere like in Buffalo this week, especially as news started to trend in a positive direction?
yeah, I went to the gym Tuesday morning, and it was there's not that many people at the gym I go to. It's just basically me and the guy that I work out with, and it was a very mellow vibe. Like everyone's, you feel it a little bit more being your team. I know everyone who's an NFL fan felt it, but you feel a little bit more being your area, someone that you've rooted for. And it's a terrible thing to happen to anyone, but you start seeing like all the stuff that Hamlin's done, the type of person he was, it just made it that much more gut wrenching for me. It was definitely a tough week, to like, 1/100th of what Pat was going through, but like sweating for him, wanting him to win, but also trying to be objective over how things can handle, trying to deal with the emotions of everything going on. But watching the Allen McDermott, I watched like the 35-minute press conference they had on, God, was it Wednesday night or Thursday night? When the news started to get positive.
I think that was Thursday, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could see the relief on their face, and I was kind of like, all right, if they feel relieved, like it's okay for me to feel relieved, was sort of my thought. And then the next day, Hamlin was talking to the team, and it really seemed very, very positive. I know he's still technically in critical condition, but everything seems to be going the right way. And, thank goodness the medical responders there were trained well. And God, the ability to identify what's happening in real time with such an outlier situation is just insane to me, that you can do that. Like not only knowing what to do, but being able to just immediately see something that you just never have seen before in actuality. So watching that press conference though, I think helped for me turn the vibe of the week a little bit.
That was like for me, because I was writing it up in the Fantasy Life newsletter, and like Wednesday I had a pretty heavy post in there, and then Thursday I did, and then Friday when you had the shots of the Bills players at practice smiling and thumbs up, because to me that's always where my head went to, is like, how do these guys mentally get to a place where they feel comfortable playing when this just happened in front of them? And when you see those guys smiling, and the positive reports, hearing from Hamlin's dad, hearing from Hamlin, and once they're like, all right, let's fucking go, that was like, all right, this feels so much better than it did at the start of the week.
Yeah, and we got the report that he had asked who won the game. That came out like I think the Bills must have known that before we knew that, and maybe that was kind of some of the stuff, that the optimism and stuff that was shining through. Perhaps, I don't know, but yeah, just to get like all of that positive news on Thursday was, and then to get more, we've continued to get, positive news kind of flowing in since then, has just been massive. Yeah.
And then of course, Friday, on the back of that really positive news, getting the official determination on the contests was huge. And the sites did what they had to do, which just like you said, there's no equitable thing. And I think when there's no equitable thing, you just have to go with what's most objective. And that's
right.
What did
happen.
Yeah. It was pretty clearly spelled out in their terms and everything. Like it was one thing if the game was going to get played again, but obviously when we got the final news that the game was officially not going to be played, it's sort of pretty clear what was going to happen. Pat, you said, like, before we came on, we were talking about it, and I was saying, man, it's crazy to be on the stream with you for the first time since you've won. And you guys were all pointing out, like, I mean, we were just on Monday for this last year. We're talking about this week. It's been 5 days. And you were just saying before we came on, like, it feels like it's been a really long time. You feel like you're about to get really sick. Like, I'm sure you've been through a lot of
I'm pretty sure I'm going to be horribly sick next week. I feel like the sore throat thing.
I have a newborn, and I think Pat's probably slept less than I have
I'm sure.
this past week. Yeah.
The one day Pat's like, I thought the best thing to do is get 8 hours of sleep. And we're like, yeah, that was smart. And then like a day or two later, Pat's like, I slept 1 hour less.
I was able to sleep the first, like what happened, it's like I couldn't fall asleep, and then I was able to sleep in. And then like progressively I stopped being able to sleep in as well. So like by, I think it was Wednesday night maybe, that I just like didn't get any sleep at all. Or maybe I got a couple hours, but it was like rough.
I'm sure Murphy got walked plenty this week.
Murphy got there was a lot of one-on-one time with Murphy. We were outside a lot, walking around, playing fetch. So he was he was having a good time.
Yeah.
So Pat, lots of people want to know, I think you had, maybe it was in the Discord you referenced that, I don't remember where, but that you hadn't told your parents up until it was official. Tell us about some of the conversations, both with Brittany, your family, like when all the dust settled on this.
Yeah. So Brittany was looped in. But yeah, I think when I was kind of saying like the game is not going to be played. We got some reports, Schefter and stuff before it was official. I was like, it's looking unlikely. Where I think she needed like convincing, like really. But I talked to my dad after the AP report, and it was kind of funny because I like told him and he was psyched and everything, of course. But then like he like had been trying to catch up with me for a couple days, and I hadn't really responded. I'd like texted him or something. He'd been trying to get me on the phone, and I like obviously was trying to delay it. And he like we kind of had the same conversation we would have had. Like he was like telling me about a Sunday and what was going on. Like after we had the full conversation about BBM3, but then he was like, yeah. So anyway, Sunday was nice. Blah blah blah. It was kind of delightful just to have like a totally normal tag to the regular conversation. I did have to fully convince my mom. I don't think she believed me until the follow-up conversation yesterday.
The one thing that's crazy is it's a lot of money. It's not, it's not like a 150K bank, but 2 million. I mean, obviously the taxes in New York City.
Yeah, the New York City, it turns out, is pretty serious about their taxation.
But it's kind of like, even if half of it's gone, which sucks obviously, but even if half of it's gone, you've got $1 million.
Yeah.
That's Scott, like that's there. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what I kept seeing. I was like, $1 million's a lot of money. That's nice, but you take taxes away and all of that, and then I'm like, $2 billion is a lot of fucking money.
Keep $1 million.
Yeah.
You get a clean 1 million, like
into the bank account.
That's so awesome, dude. I hope you get sick now before your vacation.
I know, I've got a vacation coming up
before your vacation.
Well, it's funny because people are like, dude, are you planning something? It's like, well, I'm going to Indonesia, but that's already been planned. So we kind of lucked into that.
Have you and Brittany gone out for a nice dinner?
Did you guys just see the official in the game?
No, what did he do?
They blew the play dead before the snap. He ran up and knocked away the long snap before the holder could get it. I've never seen anything like it. He tipped drilled the long snap. Anyway.
Yeah. Where you guys went out for a nice dinner, you said?
Yeah, we went and got some sushi and stuff. It was like it wasn't quite omakase, but it was basically kind of that style. I sat at the bar, got a bunch of good sushi stuff yesterday. Yeah, went out today. Met some friends today.
People are wondering, has the money officially hit your Underdog account?
Yes, Underdog is good for it, as it turns out.
Is your is your bank account equipped to handle a $2 million wire?
I called them and then they like gave me instructions for I think the instructions were how to send a wire, and I'm like need to call them back like no, I'm why do you need money.
As an investor in Underdog, I kind of would prefer that you just kind of keep that money on the site, maybe max the big
Dude, Pat's got wealth front 3.8%. You got to start churning that money immediately. Get that interest monthly immediately.
Yeah.
Cut into those taxes 0.01% at a time.
I guess I should.
So Pat, what have been the most like common questions and stuff you get? I'm sure you've got like lots of people had wanted to see the team. Lots of people want to know the date you drafted it on. Lots of people wanted to know why the fucking guy who says he never takes running backs took 2 running backs. What are the other questions you've gotten in the wake of this?
Yeah, like when well, the July 18th one, when I drafted it, it's pretty interesting because that's the same date as the guy who won the regular season million.
Yeah, King Capital.
Unbelievable.
And someone said Liam was around that time last year too?
I think he was right around that time as well. Yeah.
Yep.
That's so insane.
Is there a reason for it?
Well, it's probably because the barbell bros are out of the way.
Yeah, the barbell bros aren't drafting. You're literally the middle of the summer.
Yeah, I just drafted when all these barbell bros talk themselves into can't be drafted in July.
Yeah, Liam was June 15th or 16th.
Okay.
June.
Oh, June 15th.
Still,
okay, that's
yeah.
bad.
What else are people asking you? Oh, go ahead.
Underdog should really do something next year on that date.
I know, right?
It will legitimately get
for sure.
They will make money that they would not have made if
Yeah.
they promote that day.
National
I've already
Best
seen
Ball
people
Day.
saying everyone's calling in sick that day to max their BBM entries. We'll
Well,
make it a holiday.
It's also a great day in the calendar to get people into it that haven't been into it yet. Like July 18th is the day to start. Like maybe that's why. Maybe there's a lot of fish starting on July 18th. Who knows?
Well, I went back and watched one of our streams. Okay, so George Kittle started National Tight Ends Day, and it got some traction. I mean, I feel like it's kind of a no-brainer here for Underdog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
National
gonna
Best Ball Day.
who does tight end you? Are you gonna start Best Ball Mania you, Pat? you fly everyone out there, run up through some drills, instructional drills.
Draft, hit the button, unstar, star.
But it is really cool. And Leone shared, I think on Twitter, the screen grabs too of like showing that exactly what that team was that you drafted. Like you had written about it in some capacity. You had written about the 2 running backs at the top that you thought were candidates for legendary upside. You had recommended specifically messing around with 3 punt RB builds on QB builds on 2 early running back starts. Like where was your headspace at? And I know you even told us that you went back and were watching even the ship chasing stream like right before the day you drafted that to kind of see like where your mental headspace was at.
I was curious where my head was at. Yeah, and it was the stream with Hassan, and it was like a hilarious stream to rewatch. I mean, there was a ton. It was the Stack That Bitch Up stream. It was the Lamb. What was it? The Lamb hurt. The Dak Hurts.
The Dak Hurt Lambs. Yeah.
The Dak Hurts Lamb, because it was during Scott Fishbowl, so we were bringing on Hassan to talk about Scott Fishbowl. It was actually a very fun rewatch. Although I did tout Will Fuller pretty hard in that one, so that one wasn't too fun to watch. But yeah, I
feel like I remember you around that time saying the only reason to draft during that time was to take Rob Gronkowski. Why is Rob Gronkowski not on this roster?
Well, there's a lot of people that aren't. So this is the only Tyquan Thornton team that I drafted all summer. It's the only Mike Gesicki team that I drafted all summer. And I think the thing that that you were talking about that Leone had referenced on Twitter with the experimenting with 3 quarterback build. So I wrote that article that came out, I think, a couple weeks later, or the first part of
early August.
But I published it. I published it like skill positions, and then the second part was quarterbacks. But I had originally gotten into it thinking about the quarterback strategy, and I basically through the research, I was like, I need to write about everything first, and then I'll get to the quarterbacks later. But I was like, I'm nearly certain that it was me experimenting with this idea of there seems to be a pocket of running back value kind of in the early double-digit rounds, but maybe that pocket, you don't need that pocket as much if you spent so much capital on running back with an RB start. And instead, maybe you can use that capital on quarterback. Sean Siegel's talked about the quarterback window. A lot of the research that I did basically confirmed what he'd already found, which is that there's this kind of the end of the upside quarterbacks that happens roughly around 13, 14-ish. And so if you don't need that running back value that's kind of in that pocket, then why don't you take a third quarterback? And then the other thing that's interesting about the team and about that strategy in general, I think, is that it allows you to get more stacks onto the team. So I had Daniel Jones, I had Saquon,
Wandale too.
I had Wandale. Yeah, I had Tua, I had Waddle, I had Mostert, I had Michelle, who was on the Dolphins at the time, and then I had 2 Patriots coming back, and I had Gesicki, and that's why I had those guys, is because it got me on an additional stack, that build. So it's definitely an interesting structure that I want to mess around with more for sure.
Yeah, it's also interesting. I know I said a couple times in specifically to tournaments that I was really on the elite quarterbacks because I was like, structurally over the course of a season, I don't know if it's necessarily this crazy edge, but in the playoff weeks, you might be, if you've got 3 quarterbacks like Daniel Jones, Tua, and Tom Brady, maybe you get 25, but you're not matching 37. And then Pat decides to take 2 quarterbacks that score 37 of those
both
3
without
anyways.
Tua was doing it all year, and then Tua's out, and the other 2 do it. That's wild.
But yeah, to your point, you made sure you got the quarterbacks. There was definitely, I know Dimes went late, but there was a point where it was dude, you're fucking talking about people taking Matt Ryan and Mac Jones. And those guys cannot score 36.
Right. And that was a big part of the research that I did, was that you do want guys with upside. And I think the quarterback market has gotten very efficient. So you look at the types of guys that are in the early double-digit rounds, and it tends to be pocket passers or rushers who were like really worried about, like Fields was there and probably were overly worried about him. But
Pat, do you remember, like, I remember my favorite Best Ball Mania team, I notoriously don't sweat until late in the season. I think it was around week 13 when I first started looking at the one team that I was like, this could make some noise. Do you remember ever looking at this team and being like, oh, this is interesting? Or was this one just like out of sight, out of mind on the back burner? You weren't pre-sweating this one?
Completely out of sight, out of mind, this one. This was like, it finished second in its league. I had another 3-quarterback team that was making noise, and I think when this made the finals, I was like, oh sweet, it's that Rodgers team. Let me check it out. And I was like, no, it's not the Rodgers team. It's a different 3-quarterback team. So I wasn't really I kept having to memorize who was on the team in the final. Like, it was not. I had I had teams that I was kind of sweating. Like, I had one that was a 0 running back team. I think it had Mahomes. It definitely had Mahomes, and it had Pollard and no, it didn't have Ramondre. It had Pollard and a bunch of other. It was a fun team. I was like, this team's like so fun. I can't, so
It's
excited.
funny.
I hope it gets through.
It's funny Leone brought up how the 2 different quarterbacks did really well. I was thinking back to sort of some of the sweating chats that we were having in our little chat throughout the day on Sunday, and some of the updates Pat was giving us. And for whatever reason, I mean, I've thought a lot about Pat, more about Pat than maybe my own kids this week. Just like, just like, there's a lot going on here. But throughout the day, and as you rose the leaderboard, it was on the back of Daniel Jones. We were like super pumped that Daniel Jones had his first rushing TD, and then a second rushing TD, and then ultimately he wasn't even your QB, but he was the one that escalated you up into like right there. And then Ekeler, obviously, in the afternoon games, is the one that pushed you to first. That long TD run was the big moment. But Daniel Jones was really rising you up to where, like, this has a shot, this is live, and then he didn't even become your quarterback. And
then we were tilting it, an hour later. We were like,
it.
these, because no one had Brady, and a lot of people actually did have dimes, and we were like, oh, these.
Well, in the article, I wrote about how kind of rare it was for like these later quarterbacks to have spike weeks, and I was like, I don't even know if it's worth chasing, because even if you get one, their spike weeks aren't usually as powerful as the elite guys. And it's possible that you might end up with 2 guys and you don't even use the spike week that you got, which is exactly what happened to me. Although I will note Daniel Jones
spike week,
very high spike. Daniel Jones got me through. This team wouldn't have advanced without getting through. And Osimo had an article out over the summer specifically saying, and this is one of the things that got my gears turning on this stuff, is that specifically saying, like, you could advance a low owned stack if you go 3 quarterbacks. And that's also exactly what happened.
The funniest thing about that article is Osmo told me that he wrote that the year before and it just got no attention, and he just republished it over the summer when we all noticed it. Also, Leone, that's near and dear to your heart, because last year in the FFPC Best Ball Finals, you had a team that got there because of 1 week from Ben Roethlisberger, who I believe you auto drafted on accident.
Yep. And I
Yeah, you didn't, dude.
And he,
Leone, one thing about that too is because, like, people will look at Pat's team, and I've seen some of the comments like on Twitter and elsewhere, and they're like, how did this team get there? How did this team win? It didn't have a lot of the quintessential league winners. And as a GPP contrarian bro, myself, I could never wrap my head around this as a cash game king, but there's a huge advantage to waking up in these finals with players that the field does not have.
Yeah, so that was one of the nuttiest things. There are things I like and don't like about the underdog format, but it is definitely, I think, fun for contestants like Pat who can squeak in without the weak winner. And so Justin Jefferson goes
41% owned. Yeah.
41.
Yes, 41% owned. Think about that. Like 41% owned with no salary cap. And
to Pat's point, also really reduced the Ekeler teams, which ended up mattering a lot for him because you can't have both.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was getting at, is you couldn't have both. And so Pat had it's like double leverage. You're fading Jefferson and you have this guy that people don't have. Also, arguably at a position where you want it, because a little bit more volatility generally at wide receiver. Kind of nuts that you had Jacoby Myers and Thornton scores in your lineup, and kind of a down game, and you got 3 really good scores in that lineup. But then there was also the team in second was an ETR sub who had 2 entries. I was telling you guys in our Discord chat, but he had something similar where he like rode Miles Sanders like all year long. And then he had Jerick McKinnon, Cam Akers, and one other back that went off the right 3 weeks. So it is wild. And I think that's like part of the reason too, Pat, like you did a bunch of teams that were well structured and with correlation. And if you can kind of marry those two together, like that's the way to do it. Obviously, you need to run pure, but there's something about the uniqueness in week 17 that you can't have control over other than just getting smart teams in that are more likely to survive missing Jefferson for a single week or something.
Yeah, I mean, you need like I had identified beforehand that my chance of winning this thing was Tom Brady to Chris Godwin with DJ Moore coming back. And the reason I said that is because all three pieces were low owned. And I had some chalk. I had Kittle chalk. I feel like it's almost impossible not to have chalk, right? If you get into week
you need
17,
some chalk.
You need some chalk. So I had some chalk. Saquon was chalk. That was the other thing, right? Saquon was chalk. Ramondre was chalk. And Kittle was chalk. And those guys, Kittle was in my final lineup, but didn't have a huge game. And to get Ramondre and Saquon having quiet games, and then Ekeler, who was the direct leverage off Jefferson, and there weren't a ton of him because of Jefferson getting so many teams in. And then to get a Mostert week hit my lineup, which was going to be super low own. I mean, I don't know. Like, you just like, what are the chances of that? Like the chalk, like all the chalk that I needed to get there failed. And then all the contrarian pieces that I had replaced them in the perfect way. I mean, you just run hotter than the sun. Is the lesson.
But you kind of have to, right? But the way that you put yourself in the position to do that is to build a lot of intelligent teams, the ways that you guys are just talking about, make a lot of smart plus EV bets. The thing that I love about this team is it is so you as an analyst, where you're like a true grinder. You always have been, and you're stacking edges. I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. I remember when I started doing ship chasing, we had some conversations about what we wanted and what our goals were. The three of us talked a little bit after some streams. It was in 2020, and one of the things that I said to you guys, I don't know if you guys remember this, but I was like, I would like Pat to get a little more like credit for how good of an analyst he is, because at the time you were doing ETR, you're doing Establish the Edge with Leone, but I think we were talking about like Twitter follows. I was coming off CBS, I had some follows. Pete gets, Pete's Pete, so everyone knows Pete. But you had been doing it since 2014. When did you start at Rotoviz? Like 2014 or something?
Yeah, 2013 or 2014, I think.
Yeah, and it was 2020, and you didn't have 10K follows on Twitter. And you've been doing great content forever. You're at ETR, just doing, like, working really intelligently to get better, building smart EV bets all the way across the board. And then, I mean, obviously, since then, you've had, what a glow up. You're at NBC now. You've got the worksheet, which is the best freaking in-season article.
No, that's Rich Rebar's worksheet. I do the walkthrough.
I'm drinking. The walkthrough, they both start with W. I came up with that name. I will remind you. But I said the wrong name. And now you're a $2 million champion in best ball, which is just absolutely incredible. But, like, I don't know. This lineup is accumulation of you making smart bets, grinding every edge you can. You guys talked about how he wrote about these exact things, knowing what to look at and how to look at it, getting better throughout a whole bunch of years, doing that when you had fewer than 10,000 followers, still doing it when you're at NBC and crushing. It's just like the coolest freaking thing. Like, there's not a more deserving winner of this. And I don't know. I just want to say that.
Well, let's give Pete some shine for the week 17 is all that matters video, because I mean, you look at this roster, like, I'm clearly in the week 17 is all that matters mindset. I'm correlating George Kittle and Hunter Renfrow. These are
Hunter Renfrow flop lag this week, by the way. You're just a week too early on that one.
I mean, I'm doing this might as well be Zach Ertz and Tyler Algier. I mean, I was going to the max on this thing. I think that was probably the best piece of content of the entire year, and it made this team. I wouldn't have drafted this team without it.
I just love I remember last year when Bime4 and I had our team, and it's really fun when some intentional decisions you make, because I'll be the first to admit, you draft 150 of these. Some of these you're in robot mode. Some of these you fall into your comfort zone. It's really fun when you can see the fingerprints of intentionality like on the draft. And this thing is riddled with Pat's fingerprints of intentionality, which I just think is very cool.
It's like the perfect blueprint for what you want to be as a fantasy analyst. Anyone who's watching this show, like, we're trying to teach you a whole bunch of little things that we think matter, but we're also trying to figure it all out at the same time too. But you do it. And yeah, like, it takes some luck, and we're talking about how he ran hotter than the sun and all of those things, but you do it and you repeat it, and best ball is the perfect place to do it as many times as you can. Like Pat said, he wasn't even really following this team. It didn't look like the greatest team. You build a lot of smart plus EV bets. You stack all of the things that you can stack. You put yourself in a position like this. Like, it's awesome.
I mean, looking at this team too, like, people are pointing out Kyle Pitts. Like, I know I was devastated not to get Kyle Pitts. I know I was.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
fine. I guess I'll take fucking DJ Moore here.
And then I got Jalen Waddle in the 4th. Like, I probably should have taken Waddle, not Moore. I got, so.
Well, and it is super fun too, because you can look at these early picks, like, you let the draft come to you. And then basically after pick 5, I'm going to guess that once you have DJ Moore, you start thinking about the Bucks in week 17 when you start taking Godwin. Bucks. Like, you lay the foundation with those first 5 picks, probably just letting the draft come to you. And then you're kicking into how can I structure and build off of those first 5 things I did.
Also, shout out early drafting, Chris Godwin at 6'6".
Hell yeah.
I know there's a lot of that. I mean, Ramondre in the 10th.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that maybe not even early drafting. I think we need to maybe like extend what early drafting means, because like this was before training camp still, but I feel like well, there's a few badges in here, so it's not like it was.
This is interesting because Sky Moore 8th, Garrett Wilson 9th. You end up taking Tyler Lockett in the middle of the night, and Lockett probably played a pretty big role on at least getting you there. You said you finished second in your league. Not a guy you probably had a lot of either, right? You didn't.
No, I had an okay
boring values.
The boring value. That's a Leone play. You talked about that all offseason, how big of a gap Lockett and Metcalf had, and it shouldn't be. And you were right.
I can't remember where I was at on Lockett, but I think I had a decent amount. Oh.
Would you have gone Rojo in the 10th if available?
I mean, I would have. No, actually, I don't think I would have over Ramondre, but I can't say for sure.
Your
and I'm sure I took him over Ramondre at some points earlier in the summer. But I did have I kind of had a sit down with myself about Ronald Jones around this time, maybe even before, where I was like, I'm not getting other guys I want. And Rachaad White, Garrett Wilson.
Dude, I think you got sniped on Jones. Isn't that coming back?
It's coming back. So I really don't know if I would have taken Rojo here. But,
that's such a good point. I want you to almost restate that, or I'm just going to jump in and do it because this is what I do sometimes, like a dick. That point that the guy that you're taking too much of is preventing you from taking other guys. There's so many people that need to hear that. Yeah. I needed to hear that a few years ago. It's something I focus on too. That's such a good point.
Because it feels good to take that guy, but then I was like, and also Leone. I should actually find when Leone in our chat, you were kind of making a case against Ronald Jones, which turned out to be 100%
Thank you for
correct.
As always being the voice of reason.
Yeah, thank you for.
It wasn't well received at the time.
It wasn't, but it was a good case, and I was like, I probably need to think about this. Shut up, Leone, and then I'm gonna change what I do.
Of diversifying though too. When we talk about the randomness of the playoff weeks, especially, like, you could be all in, like, let's say Josh Jacobs. Like, I'm not saying you wouldn't want to be all in Josh Jacobs. He had the year that he had, but when you add in the randomness of the tournament weeks, like, it's hard to be super concentrated on one guy who just like might have the wrong week at the wrong time, even if he was like a little bit of a better pick than someone else, like objectively over the course of the season.
And I feel like, I'm sure other people relate to this, right? When you have your players you like, and say the players you're taking some kind of stand on, the trap is you have the devil and the angel on your shoulder, and the angel's like, hey, maybe you should diversify, maybe mix it up. Like, you're not as confident, or the probabilities of this guy hitting relative to the others isn't that great. And then you have the devil on your shoulder that says, but what if I just need to get the right combinations around him, and I don't already have that combo? Should probably just take fucking Kyle Pitts at 212. Like, that's what I always struggled with throughout the summer.
The week 17 stuff too, we've talked about this a lot internally. In some ways, aside from like the correlation benefits, it just helps you get diversification to those guys. Like Pat said, he's only Thornton's share. Jacoby Myers, another one of those boring values that like you probably just wave another time.
I was in on the Lockett's and the Myers. Like, you know, you guys know I loved drafting Zach Ertz last year for free. I drafted a bunch of Tyler Higbee this year for free. Like, there is a point where I kind of do enjoy the Leone gross olds. It's just later than Leone does, which is like any round will do. I'm kidding, Leone. But no, I don't know. Lockett was pretty cheap, and then Myers was very, very cheap.
Yeah. And that,
have you gotten approached by this is a total tangent. Have you gotten approached by anyone for the Pat Kerrane $2 million story? Some big newspaper needs to write about, the intersection of Hamlin in this as well. Like this is obviously crazy.
Did you say, Pat, the Fantasyland producers approached you about?
Oh, the Fantasyland producers have been fired. Yeah, Fantasyland. I've been in a lot of contact with the producers of Fantasyland.
We actually did. Fantasy Douche came out of the woodwork to send us
Fantasy
an email
Douche.
today.
Yeah, I need to email him back. I haven't emailed
No
him
way.
He did. Yeah.
He did.
He said he was looking for a $1 million loan.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Oh, I did want to say to the point about the Week 17 thing, because Eric and Rob were on the Spike Week channel. I guess before the game on Monday, they were talking about Mike Evans, and like that was one of the guys that I took a stand against, and they were basically saying like, you know, we like Mike Evans always could have done. No one was really arguing that he couldn't have a gigantic, massive Spike Week in Week 17. And he certainly did. But I was relieved when I went and found this because it ended up being a Brady stack. I was so relieved that I would have had to take him in the first round to get him here, because I would have, if he was there over, there's no way I would have taken him over Barkley.
Well, and that's where the mindfuck stuff comes in with the pods in the advancement and like running very hot with that stuff, is like the opportunity cost of having Mike Evans on your team is probably so great for getting a team all the way to the finals with him after so many duds. Like it is really such a tight needle to thread with some of those guys who underperform with early draft capital.
Yeah. And you survived a wide receiver who was 100% owned, in terms of drafts. You survived him outscoring every other receiver by 14 points on a week, which goes to, he didn't get there, wasn't on enough lineups to, and he was on some teams, but it was so low that you were able to survive it.
Right. Yeah. And Chris mentions I probably wouldn't have advanced Evans, and it's a different build. The whole build changes. I don't do the 3 quarterback thing. So
you're probably not taking Daniel Jones at that point. You're not taking Wan'Dale Ross. Like everything changes. Which is like a good, again, the way of thinking about your drafts of like every single pick you make dictates and should inform subsequent picks. Like I was messing around in the offseason where I was like, I think you could auto draft the first 3 to 4 picks and then wake up in the 4th round and say, now let me build a logical team based off of what I've started.
There's your boot camp, Pat. There's your boot camp right there.
It's a great boot camp because you say literally do nothing but let the computer draft for you for a while. I mean,
and then you have to think about structure, and you have to think about what do I need with this. You have to answer questions, and might have some players you don't actually like, but you have to think about it.
Well, Bonesaw brings. Oh, go ahead.
Well, no, go ahead. You can bring that up.
Well, I was just gonna say Bonesaw talking about taking Godwin as your 3rd wide receiver. I mean, part of that's out of necessity when you start with 2 running backs, but also Godwin is the exact kind of guy you take when you're behind the 8 ball with wide receivers, because you're saying here, can I get buoyed by this other production through the first 6-7 weeks? But then I have a guy who could perform like a top 3 round pick down the stretch. You're actually trying to beef up your wide receivers and find some of those arbitrage values cheap.
Yeah, and with the RB start, part of it is like you're gonna be scoring points out of the gate pretty easily. So yeah, I completely agree with that.
Can we do some streams next year where we auto draft the first 4 rounds? I really want to do this now.
I did that sometimes in mind. Yeah.
I want to watch and see if you still want to do it after a couple of rounds.
After Zeke ends up on the team.
When I get 4 net, especially with our audience, it's going to be a 4 running back start. Oof.
Yeah.
I've sometimes thought about like, I know I can't do this, so I don't I don't know that I'll ever be able to do this, because I can't code this or whatever. But I think it would be interesting to like assign probabilities to, kind of what you think, like the odds of, like projections with like probabilities or something, and then kind of stim them. So you go, in this draft, the Broncos are terrible, or in this draft, like whatever, it basically spits out like in this draft, you just absolutely have to have the Colts or whatever. Like they're going to be they're the team that just kind of rises up and like they're all values or something. I don't know. I'd be interested to see, maybe that wouldn't lead you to good teams or whatever, but I sometimes mentally I want to draft that way of like, in this draft, I'm just like going to make a bet that, this team is kind of going to be the team, even if it's not something I always think.
Well, you're kind of doing that implicitly too. And I think back to one of the moves that like Eric and I did on our team last year, where it's like we had an early pick and we passed on Dalvin Cook to take Devontae Adams early. And then we also took Alexander Mattison to further leverage that bet. Like even the picture not making, you're actually making decisions, like you're saying, with the sim or the reality of how that season plays out and you win. Like the absence of picks is actually just as important probably as the picture making.
Yeah, for sure. And the Justin Jefferson thing and the Austin Ekeler thing, like that first round flip is like sort of another example of that type of thing.
Yeah. Leone, I'm going to let you get going here. Someone asked earlier in the chat what we were referencing about you sweating this game tonight. Do you want to let people know what you're going to go sweat here?
I mean, it's very trivial, all things considered, but
I saw the number. It's not trivial.
It's not trivial.
Well, it's trivial relative to Pat's accomplishment, but I am sweating the Tennessee Titans futures that I thought was a really sharp bet. And as I put in our Discord chat, the fact that they've lost 6 in a row and are live, maybe it was a good bet because they're live. Maybe it was a bad bet because they lost 6 in a row. I'll let you guys decide. But Pat, awesome accomplishment, man. I mean, really soak it up. I'm glad you have vacation coming up. It's probably gonna be good to it'll be hard, but I think it'll probably be good to disconnect a little bit and let it all soak in. So congratulations. It's insane. It's an awesome accomplishment, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Leone. Good luck to your Titans the rest of this game.
I just gotta say, thank goodness they found this Josh Dobbs character 20 days ago, and it's not Malik Willis.
Yeah, seriously. You'd be dead in the water with Malik Willis there. Shout out Leone. We are gonna have another special guest joining us here soon. Like the Miami Dolphins, who pop champagne for as long as they are the only undefeated champions in the NFL. We might have a former Best Ball Mania champ here ready to ceremoniously hand the crown over to you, Pat.
I can't wait for that moment.
This is an incredible comment by Lawrence. Imagine being correlated with the kitchen for real, buddy.
All right, well, we got to put some wagers on this. How long until Liam mentions his DK hits on this stream? Is it over under 5 minutes?
Well,
or 20?
I think he may have seen you say that now, so it might have changed.
He's probably watching it.
No, I think this is how it goes. It's sub a minute. The over under is 60 seconds, and it's shoehorned in with a compliment to Pat. So congratulations to Pat winning 2 million. There's gonna be a lot of pressure on you to follow up, but as someone who actually won 300,000 on DraftKings this year, it's actually very doable. I think it's gonna go something like that.
You just gotta go to the high stakes and win the big money.
Wait. Shh. Liam, welcome to the show.
What's going on, everybody?
Not too much. Have you been watching the past 2 minutes?
I heard some Ben slander as I closed the YouTube, and I'm gonna choose to forgive that and move past it. 2023.
I appreciate that, man.
New year, new me.
I thought you had already probably closed it. I was trying to get it behind your back.
No, congrats, Pat, man. This is unreal.
Thanks,
could not have chosen a better champion. I do want to say I had a bit plan, but Pat's too high class. Didn't want to celebrate the win. I was going to have a crown. I was going to take off the crown. I was going to pass it through the stream. Pat was going to pick up the crown and put it on. It would have been electric. So for the viewers,
I wouldn't say Pat is too high class. I think he just knows something that would bomb live on the stream. I liked your thought though there, Liam. What just happened here? The chat's telling me Derrick Henry. This was also part of Pat's request for this stream. He wanted to be going concurrent of the big dog here. Did he just throw a touchdown or something?
No,
I don't
I
think
got
so.
the game up here.
They're still up 13-10.
Okay. I don't know. Everyone's saying Henry's now a QB.
Oh, I guess he had an attempt.
he just threw a pass, and it's like the world is going nuts.
All right, Liam, I assume you have some words of wisdom for Pat here. You're going to give him, I would say give him tips for thumbnails, but I don't know about you two
I mean,
collaborating
what
on
tips can
thumbnails,
I
so-
give the guy? He's the champion of the. I mean, he's got to be the most profitable fantasy football season-long player ever, right? Like, move over, Chad. Learned about him recently. Won a bunch of contests, but it can't be
Oh
all
my
profit.
God.
Learned about him recently.
Learned about him.
Oh,
You know, I'm newer to the Twitter sphere and learning people.
I love how Liam's getting his guest spot kicked off with a fuck Chad Schroeder.
Richard Nixon. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, what other kind of things should Pat have to look out for here? Is Pat going to be doing a stream with some of his high school buddies about picks against the spread next year? Like, what other GTO tips do you have for him?
You know, I don't see Pat being as chaotic as my rollout. He's a little bit more established in the industry. We had a chat, of course, a Best Ball Mania chat. Me, him, Justin. So he'll have good advisors on his way, but Pat's got to handle it, man. I'm not going to be surprised if he goes out to Asia and we just don't hear of him again. You know, he's like,
That might be bad, Liam. I sure hope that doesn't happen.
I don't know. Find me now, U.S. government. $2 million.
What are you going to start doing? Haven't you promised us both chess and workout content on your YouTube stream?
You know, I've been thinking about that recently, Pete. I was thinking I'm gonna do a combine and film my stats as now. And by the way, I broke down Pat's fantasy football expo routes on my channel, and then he won. You know,
how did that do numbers wise, Liam?
Not well. But you know, that's not Best Ball Mania.
I watched it. I enjoyed it. I will say you had one viewer.
No, I mean, like, what do we think the odds are that the winner comes from? Because I mean, this is now two people that were not only like in your Discord, like grinding, but like, what do you think your odds are? Like the player pool comes from someone in like fantasy football Twitter versus, I don't know, a rando.
I mean, I would kind of appreciate if it wasn't like a Pete Overzet contact tie-in, which is kind of a Pete Overzet thing, is kind of what I'm rooting for, Liam. Gretch, do you want to handicap whatever question he just asked?
I was watching the game and not listening to
Classic.
Well, I will say it was very fun later this week once stuff started to finalize, to scroll through ship chasing, to scroll through the NFL Best Ball channel and the Deposit Kingdom. Just so many people in there, shipping tournaments at the top of the leaderboards. You know, shout out to all those guys there. I know we had someone who won the Resurrection, finishing. Skylar won one of the Palms. Just all kinds of great wins there in the Deposit Kingdom. So definitely love to see that.
And look, I mean, I feel like we've hit the over on this. Can we congratulate Liam? He won $300,000 on DraftKings as well.
Yeah,
that would have been crazy if you didn't win $2 million. So you kind of quenched my flame.
Oh
there,
my God.
I will say, I mean,
Pete, how are you doing? How's April doing, bud?
I haven't talked to Pete since he had a baby.
She was having a rough night. I was trying to soothe her to bed by reading her my cash game shell, and that wasn't going well.
Better put her right to sleep.
No, but Liam, congratulations. There's been lots of whispers around the industry that you're a best ball fraud, and you know, it just goes to show that a broken clock is right twice a day. It just congratulations.
You know, it was tough scenes when on Christmas some troll posted on my YouTube video like TJ Hawkinson scored a lot of points or something. He's like, can't wait until you post about your best ball losses. And the only person I banned from my YouTube, I was like, I don't need that in my mental headspace. But I banned him too soon.
And you won.
I know, I banned him too soon. Now he can't even see.
All right, the question everyone wants to know though is, was Gabe Davis on that team or on those teams?
Gabe Davis was on one of the teams, but that was a 72-person contest, and those points didn't count. So, and on the other team, it was a Mahomes team. So Mahomes, McKinnon, Kelsey team.
Ooh.
And I don't think I had a lot of Mahomes teams in the 5-5-5, but
I feel like you just draft Bills in every draft, so I don't think you'd probably take a lot of Chiefs teams, period.
one of the only teams I did not have a Bills player on.
Wow.
1 Bills in every draft.
I mean, does that mean the Bills are your handicap? Like when you didn't draft Bills, you built a champion? That's
Well,
it
I
sounds like
drafted
you're an
Bills
even
last
better
year.
drafter than you know, but you take Bills in every draft, and then maybe if you would just like draft the players right.
I mean, better than Kyle Pitts, right? Like,
Tyler asking the most pressing question, Liam, is it possible to cheat in best ball with anal beats?
oh God, we're back. We're back. Baby. We are back on the grind. No, man, but congrats to Pat, like a true grinder. And, you know, Ben said earlier, Pat's a grinder, but what he didn't mention, and I only picked this up because I was listening to some pod and Pat mentioned it, is he listens to a lot of content. And I like that's probably a lot of that's like work related. But he has to, like in the off season, I know he's like,
obsessed with
I got
this.
like 7 different pods I'm listening to. I'm like,
I feel like you're
What?
about to kitchen this and try to take credit for Pat listening to some of your streams for winning.
oh yeah, no. That's
He
just
listens
like
to,
a legal thing. Like I'm gonna put my request for 10%. But
Remember that time you mentioned that you listened to one of my streams? I definitely helped you win.
no, I had Pat on a lot, you know. But
Yeah.
anyways, congrats to a grinder.
Yeah, I
True,
mean,
true
I
grinder.
meant
Cheers
that the
to-
way that you said it. In terms of being a grinder, I need to go get another beer to cheers. But I only brought 3 up, and we're celebrating, so we just got 3 up.
Pat, it's kind of melted now, but I made myself a double old fashioned with a giant ass ice cube.
Oh man, that's awesome.
In solidarity with you and our ship chasing trip a couple years ago.
That looked delicious when you started that. And I also
Yeah,
forgot.
I would
what was-
argue I'm part of this tree. You know, like I think I was good at fantasy football, but last year I only really I didn't know a lot of content to listen to. It really started with ship chasing. I listened to the like bomb drop episode with Eric too, where I think that's
the
like
puppy draft.
where the
one?
real avalanche kicked off.
Yeah, that episode
that
last summer,
year.
the summer
Yeah.
before last summer. Oh man, where we really
That's a
just
historical
really-
episode
Yeah,
in
it
fantasy
really was.
football. I mean, like, think of how much
Historical, not
sharper
for
the fantasy
Redford
football
books for
space has
about
gotten.
100 virgins on the internet.
Basically, from that point on, we never got to do another normal draft on stream like that.
The Fantasyland producers have been in contact about that.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually shocked when Kitchen he sidestepped it. He didn't even try to take credit for you as part of
didn't.
his tree. He said he was going to try to graft you on, which I thought was like huge strides for Kitchen.
Yeah, that was big.
to not take credit for that.
I was a little shocked that he wasn't going to try to find a way that I was a flowering branch off of
I
some.
thought you were definitely locked.
I
He-
think
he
he's waiting
could've-
for the result of this game, and he wants to celebrate the Titans and Pat.
Yes.
Same tweet.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly. Pat, what's the funniest thing that's come out since like you winning? Someone coming out of the woodwork, a message you've gotten, a weird reaction. Like what? Give us something good since you.
Well,
won.
what I will say, so no one is like come out of the woodwork, knock on wood, in a bad way. I've gotten a lot of like really nice advice from people, you know, being like be careful. This is like the people are gonna come out of the woodwork now, and it's like so far, I think is a testament to the community. Like only nice people have come out of the woodwork.
You haven't found out about an illegitimate son yet, or anything?
No, there's no illegitimate sons yet. There's no, can't miss investment opportunities, thankfully. I will say, so the funniest, I think the funniest thing is that right around when the AP report came out that they weren't going to play the game, this is after I talked to my dad. I was like trying to get in touch with my family, and my sister called me. And I was like, hey, what's up? And she's like, hey, how's it going? Yeah. So are you about to win like a lot of money? And I was like, Kate, I'm about to win $2 million. And so she had heard it from one of her coworkers because her coworker's husband watches ship chasing. So
That's amazing.
yeah. He was
wow.
like, you teach with Pat Kerrane, sister?
Holy
Like,
cow.
and so she heard it through the grapevine, like as kind of it was the timing of it was amazing because it was like right as I would have called her in like the next 10 minutes.
Wow.
You work with Pat Kerrane's sister?
I'm a little ashamed to say I didn't realize how Irish you were, Pat, but I Googled the last name Kerrane, and apparently strong Irish heritage. Is that true?
Wow.
I'm an Irish
Liam-
citizen. I have my Irish citizenship.
Liam, thank you
Wow.
for doing some research
Yeah.
before coming on this show. A lot of people won't look at kind of the ancestral origins of our last names before they come on, and I really appreciate that.
Well, it was
Never
because
knew
of
that
Brick's
either.
tweet about the quacks out there being like, they're making the groups.
They're making the groups. Daily Road. Yeah, Pat, do you want to speak about Underdog made the graphic?
Yeah.
And they did cleverly withhold Daily Rojo from that graphic.
Yeah, they rushed this
missed
thing out. Has me drafting out of the 110 and doesn't include Daily Road.
Everyone's like, Ekeler fell to the 110. No, it was the 107.
Does that say team drafted on July 18?
Drafted. Yeah,
There was
tags
some
me. No mention of my handle. I don't know why. Is there a reason?
I guess
how is Daily Rojo not the biggest thing on the screen? What?
Yeah, come on.
I mean,
give me
the
the
points-
handle. Now, I haven't gone back and looked, but Liam, when you got your tweet, was your handle mentioned?
Pat, I don't think they did a tweet for me. This may shock you. This may shock you, but the dude who just popped on Twitter and said, "Let's hold," they weren't exactly celebrating that character yet.
they didn't do a tweet for me.
Did it? No commercial. I've seen some commercials out there. I'm wearing the shirt Underdog.
Liam, how pissed are you going to be if they just parade Pat through a bunch of
Oh,
commercials?
of course they
God,
will.
yeah.
Hey, that's
Oh
good
God,
for them.
yes. This is
All
the
right,
guy.
I'm sorry,
This
I'm
is our
sorry.
brand
I-
ambassador. We
I
got
should
rid of
have
that
been more appreciative,
Liam
man. I didn't realize that was the baseline.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
just past 3,000 followers on Twitter, so big day, Pat. Big day.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, if Davis was here, he would ask Pat how many followers you've gained in the past few days. This is
Dude, the
all Davis cares
dopamine.
about.
I think about 1,500. So
Okay.
Wow.
that's what it gets you, Davis.
10%.
I mean, Davis wasn't wrong. Davis was not wrong.
The best part about that is that's like the worst 1,500 followers you have in your whole list now. Because they're just like, oh, if I read this guy's tweets, I'm gonna win the 2 million next. I mean, not all of them, but like a decent chunk of them thinks that they're gonna get some kind of magic fairy dust by reading your tweets.
Well, I mean,
Pat-
what if they do? What if
I mean, let's
ship
not
chasing? You gotta
discount
listen to ship
anything
chasing. We say some good stuff from time to time. It's mixed in with some not good stuff.
Pat, the worst part of you winning, Pat, is that I'm legally obligated to title every ship chasing stream this summer "Draft with the winner of Best Ball Mania 3" and 2 other sacks of potatoes. Gretch,
Yeah.
you and I.
That's us, buddy.
Hey, I got a great idea for the stream name. Have you thought about Ship Chased?
wow.
We have.
Yeah. Has anyone thought of that?
Yes, that one was in the hopper for a few days there.
I mean, I mentioned I've thought about Pat a lot, Pete. I did have that thought. I was like, this is going to be great for ship chasing. We just get like we now work with the winner of Best Ball 3.
No, but Gretch, you're thinking about this all wrong because I was thinking about it from the other direction. And I was like, we're going to have to capitulate to whatever Pat wants in a draft because
Yeah,
everyone's going to be like,
that's a
oh,
good point.
Gretch and Pete want to do this, but did you
Yeah.
guys win Best Ball Mania 3? And then Pat gets his way. That's what I was
That's a
Yeah,
fair
are you guys
point.
maxing out the playoff contest now?
A lot of Dawson Knox picks coming up next time. Liam
Oh, yeah.
Pat and Liam
Yeah.
are going to be all about Dawson
Okay,
Knox.
it was like him or Adam Thielen. And I remember the Evan Ingram episode this summer. Ben, do you?
I don't remind me whatever it is because I don't remember it.
What was it? Were we
Well-
on Evan Ingram?
We wanted Evan, and I
Oh,
think
that'd be
man, that's a tough scene for you, Gretch.
Oof.
saying.
I mean, dude, he was like not that good for a lot of weeks, and then
No,
he
I don't
really
care.
came alive.
No, I mean
Like,
that's every tight end. though. That's
Really
every
came
tight end.
alive
You
late.
take your
Yeah.
celebrations.
I mean, you brought up that I touted Dawson Knox, so I just had to get you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was wrong there. Like, I have to admit, if a tight end, I just pulled up his game log. He scored 39 points in a game. One tight end scores 39 points one time. He's immediately
One
in the Hall
time.
of Fame.
Well,
It's
let's
all
talk
good.
about that a little bit because Leone was saying, well, you can't plan for basically leverage in the playoff groups, and something I've been thinking through, especially for like these really large field GPPs, is you kind of can plan in some lower advance rate guys, like they have kind of a pattern. Like Javonte Williams, if you were worried about Melvin Gordon fits the pattern, AJ Dillon, What,
But
I
I'm saying,
think
how
that-
do you plan for that when a guy has a fixed ADP that
Are you
doesn't
going to do
move?
the thing where you
the
invent
point
handcuffs?
is you don't. I think a lot of people draft every pick like I think this person's going to score the most points, and
Right.
you can layer in a like Dawson Knox. I wanted because he was a tight end and he could score points in playoff weeks, but I thought he was a dog to outscore a Ramondre, a Pollard, whoever you took over him. So it's like, should you be targeting always the league winning running backs, or like every tight end we know is kind of inflated? I don't know. That's the thing.
What I would say is that by drafting unique structures, I think Pat's 2 early running back, 3 late QBs, that you're going to naturally end up in unique combinatorial pairings of players that the field doesn't have. But I do think like it's impossible to like draft one guy and be like, this is going to be a low advance rate player, right? Like,
Well, I guess I would say like, so the to reference the stream again, the Spike Week stream, we were talking about Mike Evans, which I thought was a really interesting conversation. I mean, I was convinced that he would be a low advance rate guy. Like that was one of the like pound the table positions from the summer, and I was right, but I was wrong, right? I mean, like so that would be an example. Like maybe if you
Pat,
think the guy
like
has a
if
weekly
you had
ceiling,
that knowledge, guys, like no week 17, and you took Mike Evans in every single draft, how many of those 150? Like you probably don't get a single Mike Evans team to the.
I think you would. I think you'd get one in, maybe.
Well, you won't get a team to the finals because you're a dog to get any team to the finals.
Exactly.
Right. You're a dog to get any team to the final.
Which
But
is why
if
I'm
you-
saying it's not something you would necessarily like, even with that knowledge, you wouldn't be able to realize that edge.
But you're probably not going to realize the edge, right? You're probably not going to
But
realize
if you
the edge.
do
But I do
luck
think
a
it's
team into the finals, now you have a chance of winning.
right. I do think it's something to think about. Where if it's not that I'm going to take a guy because I think he's a bad pick, but I'm going to take a guy because I think he is overpriced, but he does have a weekly ceiling. I think that's the conversation.
Yeah, like
Pat-
we hear all the time, like, why take player X when I could take player Y, who's the same thing at cheaper cost? And that's not really the right way to think about it when it's a playoff week format.
Well, here's what I will say about that, though. If you are going to do that, where you could sell me on it a little bit more, is if this pick is correct, if Mike Evans wins me $2 million, Tom Brady is probably also winning me $2 million. And what is the logical extension of that bet that is going to help me there?
Yeah.
Like just
That's
doing it as a one-off, like what does it mean by me taking this pick? And Tom Brady would be a big part of that.
That's right. Yeah, you'd almost have to take Tom Brady there.
Right.
Especially if you think Evans is a bad pick. Like if you just like Evans and you're taking Evans, maybe not. But if you're like, I'm going to take Mike Evans here, and maybe I'm not even going to take him because he's a faller. I'm just going to take him. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier with like the just sometimes being like, you know what, in this draft, like the Bucks are crushing in week 17. I'm going to just draft like that. Russet or Fisher backwards, however you pronounce that, mentioned that like you kind of lock yourselves out of values, and maybe this is a bad idea. Like this is like very much a half-baked idea, but I think there's something to the idea of like what you just said. Like, okay, I'm gonna go. Evans is gonna be a guy that I'm gonna try to sneak through. I think he's overpriced. He's got a massive ceiling. Tying him with Brady, tying him with a Panther coming back, building a game stack around that is kind of interesting.
You're basically saying you like this player's chance to hit a high weekly ceiling in a given week, but you don't like their chance of doing it more than the field, like who's
more than the field
around.
Yeah,
them. Like
right.
Either because you think they're going to come on later in the season, or you're not as impressed with the offense. Like should you be mixing in? Like I've been trying to think. Like should I be mixing in a Cam Akers, who like I was so confident Cam Akers was a bad pick for advance rate purposes.
Mm-hmm.
But can he score 2 touchdowns in the playoff weeks? Of course he could. So should I, if I think I'm drafting sharp teams anyways, should I take some of these guys who maybe I'm confident are not going to be great season-wide, but could just pop up if I get them through? And I don't know. I think some of them are just bad process. Lucky.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like some of them, yeah, it's always so results-based too, because Evans is a guy.
I felt really bad about
gutted-
drafting Evans for a long time until he does that, right? And then I'm like, well, I was right. He could have done that, like
right.
Yeah.
And
Was
he'd be a
I?
guy pointing to if he had done it the rest of the playoffs, I'd probably be like, you can't draft Mike Evans. So it's like, is this a lesson? Is this results? We never know.
Yeah. I mean, I think we know who Mike Evans is as a player. I mean, how many
Right.
fucking seasons in a row with
Yeah.
1,000+ yards? We know he has that ceiling. He was in the fucking by Leone model for 8 straight weeks this season
Yeah.
because of his air yards. Like, you know who he is. In the same way, like Gabe Davis, right? I mean, not to get Liam's boner going here on this stream, but it's like it could have just as easily have been Gabe Davis dropping 40 in week 17, and no one would have thought that was surprising after being a low advance rate player this year.
We got some good comments here. First from Mike, I agree. Too much theory talk. Ain't this a party? Cheers, Pat, you motherfucker.
Hey,
$2
Mike,
million.
Pat, are you
Some of
more
us-
of a experienced person or item person?
Experienced person.
I don't know what that means. Also, love this from Racif. This
Wanna
team is a
continue on
hyper
that,
Rojo
or-
team, except took Ramondre instead of Rojo. That's perfect. That's exactly
It is
right.
kind of a hyper Rojo team.
It was.
Hyper Dre?
Ramondre is the new Rojo. I mean, like, might as well be. Perfect.
Ramondre is what we were hoping Rojo
Right.
would become.
But Pat also loves Ramondre and
I do love
totally hit on Ramondre before anyone else.
Yeah.
There's audio of me desperately trying to get Pete to draft Ramondre in like the 14th round of 2020 draft.
Consigliere says Cam Akers was a fantastic 0 RB pick. He was not a 0 RB pick. He was a 4th and 5th round pick all draft season.
Yeah.
Yeah, did he fall to the Jacobs?
He
Obviously,
started
was.
falling a little bit
Jacobs
late.
did, but Cam,
Yeah,
I don't
Akers
think
was
Cam
right there
Akers
with
ever
Dobbins.
slid past the 6th.
He
I don't think so
started
either.
Third
All
and then
year.
fell to 6th.
Yeah.
By the late.
Yeah.
Ronald Jones Lee. Yeah, people want to know, Pat, have you started blasting now that you have this underdog balance? I mean, how much of it are you withdrawing? How much are you keeping on the site? I mean, you got to max the gauntlet. Come on, Pat. Don't be a nit.
I mean, I don't know. You know, do I have?
You don't have
enough
time to max that. That's gonna fill.
I don't, dude. Yeah, that's the thing.
Auto draft max the gauntlet, Pat. Be a man.
Auto draft.
Auto drafting the playoff team.
Love it.
Donate back to the community,
Yeah.
to the stockholders.
It's the way to do it. To the stockholders.
Are you going to max the FFPC contest?
Oh, I want that clip for Twitter.
We're
Donate
gonna
back
be
to the
firing.
community, to the stockholders. That's beautiful.
We will. I should say, I'm glad you mentioned that. We'll of course have some FFPC playoff contest programming next week. We got a few things in the works. I will just put out there right now, we're not going to be as ambitious as last year, guys. Didn't we do 5 shows?
5
One
shows.
every day.
5 shows. Yeah.
I did a
I
lot.
think
It's-
none of
and I
us
believe-
is ready for that.
I
I
don't think
said
that's in the
last
cards.
time. I think I don't know. Whenever I said this, that I was down. I'm no longer down.
You were the only one down like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
I'm no
and
longer
now-
down for 5 shows.
You also are not down.
This guy wins
But-
2 million is no longer willing to slum it on stream
Wow.
5 days. In
I
a row.
have more things to do now.
Oh,
before
yeah.
I go.
Gotta
I don't
tell
mean-
to my wealth management firm.
Like,
Can't
things
worry
you
about
need to get in
ownership
order
projections
or
in
what?
playoff contests.
I have some things I have to take care of before I leave the country. Yeah. But I will be doing the FFPC projections for the ownership, so you can look for those, and we're going to be going through. So it'll be the same. It'll just be
The
less.
So
Boomer
those
days.
are
Opera
behind a paywall on
episode.
patcarane.com.
Backrange.com.
Yeah, I think we gotta. That's interesting. The way that ownership projections have impacted the way DFS has played this year. Do we need to make Pat's ownership projections? Well, they're only for the VIPs, right?
I think that's what I did last time, right? Didn't we
Yeah.
put them in the ship
Yeah.
chasing?
And you gotta
That's
be
right,
sure
baby.
VIP.
Let's try to get
Yeah.
some of this Pat
Let-
Kerrane
let's
clout
get some
money. You
VIP.
got to be a VIP to get those ownership projections, baby.
Sign up. There's a link in the description. Plus, you're in
but
the
yes.
ship chasing Discord.
Well-
Always a good time.
I can promise at least. I feel like I can promise 3 shows. I feel like we're gonna
Seems
have a
like we're
Tuesday
shaping
show,
up to 3.
Tuesday, our flagship Wednesday, and a Friday show. I think that's what we're headed toward.
It's essentially what you guys did last year. Just
What? Just 2 others mixed in with that.
Yeah, I mean, you guys had too many guests. You need to trim the fat.
We literally did 5.
Did
We
you
did
say
have
we should trim the
Davis
fat?
on.
Couldn't agree more.
What are we not going to have Davis on for the first look kind of thing? We did that on Monday the last couple.
Oh,
of
that's
weeks.
Well,
fun.
this is what I'm talking about. I'd love to.
I know.
I can't. Pat's
We can't.
too rich. I have
Yeah.
a newborn. What's your excuse,
If
Greg?
Davis is
I
down,
want
I'll do a Monday show.
No, I'm down. I'm down to come on Monday. I do want
All right, you and Davis can do a first look. Well, Pat counts his money, and I give my daughter a bottle. It sounds
I
like
wanted to
great time.
like start reading and stuff, but this has been a weird week. I intended to like New Year, new me this week, and instead I spent the whole week sweating Pat, like thinking about Pat Kerrane nonstop, which is not that different from most of my weeks, but like I mean, it's particularly aggressive this week.
What's your New Year's resolution, Ben?
I'm gonna read more.
Is your New Year's resolution to be open-minded about drafting Jacoby Myers, Liam?
Yeah, what is this?
Okay, my point about Jacoby Myers that has now been misquoted and
It's been disproven.
and I believe that's libel is like directionally I was not trying to take wide receivers that round. Obviously anyone can score points any given week. It does not mean they were
Let's back up. Let's set the table here. So I was on
All right,
Liam's stream and I was breaking down this team ahead of time, and Liam kind of Jacoby Myers jumped out to him as a real, kind of low upside. These are the types of picks we can't be making.
I don't think we were going through the team. I think we were talking about players. Jacoby Myers came up and I did not know he was on your team. And so
okay.
And you were like,
right.
Jacoby Myers is a great pick. What do you mean? And I'm like, this sounds like
talking shit about a guy in my cash show right now?
Wait, did Jags just kick on 4th and 3 from the 18 down 6 points?
Yeah, that was lame by them.
What? To cut it to 3 from what are they doing?
Anyways.
They also kicked from 4th and 7 at the 8 down 6 points. Doug Peterson. Leone's excited about this.
Leone's excited. Let's go Jags. Let's go Titans, excuse me.
Titans, yeah.
Titans, my bad.
I want the Jags to win. Sorry.
No, we want the Titans to win.
I'm so torn because Leone is so hyper leveraged on this bet that I want him to be happy and get a W. But God, I would rather see the Jags in the playoffs.
Yeah, and what about my 4 Gauntlet teams of Jags?
Look at this chat.
In the playoffs, dude.
Look at this chat. Everyone's like, yes, Jags are bad. Yes, Gretch, very unhappy. It's the right call. Kick that boomer. That's cool.
Kick the right call.
All right, I have a special Photoshop that has been delivered via our friend Kevin Tompkins. This is a remix for any ship chasing fans here, but we do now officially. Oh my God, there's so many Easter eggs on this thing here. We have the Kadarius Toney. We got Barkley and Ekeler in the background.
Is that the Rojo TD from tonight?
The Rojo TD
It is.
tonight. Murphy sleeping.
On the
Oh
TV.
my God. The Easter eggs here.
It's possible
incredible.
Kevin's in your apartment, Pat.
Oh,
This is incredible.
Pat, will you just promise me one thing when you go on this media tour? Will you not say the term fucking bimodal? I mean, just for the love of God, don't say the term
Murph?
bimodal.
It's superhero, right?
That's
Just
what I call it. And then
anything.
everyone got mad because they're like, that's hero.
Just say
Like,
2 early running backs like a normal person.
well, there is something to the idea of take 2.
I don't know, Pete. 2 Best
then
Ball
stop.
Mania champions like superhero, so maybe you need to open your imagination.
Yeah, Pete. Yeah.
I
But
mean,
isn't
I really
bimodal
only take
just
advice
another
from
word
guys
for
who are
barbell?
commercials.
Like, didn't it used to be barbell? Isn't that what barbell is?
What do you
Barbell's
guys
like
think Best Ball Mania 4 will be?
there's clumps on both ends and it's flat in the middle. Bimodal is graphically 2 modes. So yeah, you take
Right.
2 in the beginning
Right.
and you don't take it. It's the same thing.
Really
I
not
kind of like
helping out
superhero
the
because
fantasy
it's like
football
hero.
nerds.
Yeah.
Heroes 1 and superheroes sort of 2.
The
But
advantage to superhero is that it clarifies 2, whereas bimodal could be 3 or 4. It could be like a very robust build. It's still 1 mode, and then it could be flat for a long time in another mode.
well,
What do we call
bimodal
it?
comes
Camel
from an article
hunts.
that Hayden wrote in which he outlined that it is just 2. So, but I hear what you're saying.
But bimodal, the concept means 2 modes graphically. It basically means the dead zone, right? Doesn't it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. The way I've been doing it, I wait kind of through past the dead zone. Like I've tended to wait more to like the 9th or 10th.
to the very end.
Yeah.
Life is
My
too
winning
short.
team was too.
Life is too short. Yeah.
I went Jonathan Taylor and Aaron Jones in my
Let's
first
just
2 picks.
Trying to
Liam-
figure out what bimodal
Liam, we've
means
moved
now.
on. You're no longer the champ, man. No one cares.
Oh,
about that.
I mean, I'm just making a pattern, connecting a line here.
Yeah, so
Mike
bimodal.
Gesicki was on both teams.
Mike Gesicki was on both teams. Can we give Austin Ekeler a little bit more of a shout out, because not only was he like the only way that I could actually take this thing down, but when I was in second, Case of the Mondays was in here earlier. I believe.
Shout out to Case of the Mondays was hanging out in here, got second place.
Got second place, yeah. And he came very close because I had to sweat out the Sunday night game, and he had Isaiah Likely and Pat Freiermuth and George Pickens. So he had a number of. So that was a really
that Likely
TD
was a scary moment in our chat.
Yes,
in the first quarter.
Pete, right? I have an important shared screen here. It is the definition of bimodal.
God damn it!
Oh my god!
We moved on, Ben, bro. Come on,
Ben. You're the one who said we're having enough fun, and now you've got graphs on screen.
Yeah, you just went and got more Modelos. We can't be doing bimodal graphs. How about bimodelo?
I'm trying to teach the people something.
But just to finish the Ekeler point, when I was in second place, and I was blocked by Kittle and Lockett. Like I couldn't pass. So the only way I could pass was Ekeler. He has a 72-yard touchdown. But the only way this team got in was because Austin Ekeler scored 2 touchdowns the week before. That's the only way. I thought this team was completely dead to even make the finals, and Ekeler got me in. So Ekeler,
and he was what? Only
really
like 10 to 15%.
Truly a legend.
Pat, what was?
I think he must have been
Modelo. Modelo is great.
I'm going to get a Modelo because of this. I'll be right back.
How much did you win by, Pat?
I believe I had 161 point something, and I think so, like 5 points. I think
scored.
I can pull it up
last year.
No, I'm just kidding. McAtee's got a good point. He says this is exactly how Ship Chasing celebrates arguing the definition of words. I mean,
11% Ekeler. That's kind of crazy because he did score 2 touchdowns week 15, and then
it's just because Jefferson had such a good. No, he scored 2 touchdowns week 16.
50%. Yeah.
Jefferson
are we talking the mechanics of this again? Can we talk about the mechanics of how you have $2 million stacked up? Like, can we get
all right, Ben? Tell him how he's going to spend the money. Then
can we get him on that table? Can you buy that room so it's no longer a green screen, and then that's just your room behind you?
Yeah. Can you walk through how you chose that image?
That's what I want to see.
I
want to see him popping champagne. This is on screen.
If you notice here in the TV, it says NBC Sports Edge. Now that is a clear indication that this was not designed by me, but rather offered to me as, hey, when you're using green screens, maybe use this.
Someone copy and pasted that from Microsoft Word and just sent that to you.
I will say there was a.
What's the plan to spend it? You said you're gonna invest. You're gonna buy something. Are you gonna buy a vacation home in Montana or something? Like, what's it gonna be?
I'm like vacation home in Montana. Now that's interesting. I hadn't thought of that. I will say, like, so I live in a
skier or like anything. Like that?
I'm a terrible skier. I do
How
like
do you
skiing.
Like doing it. You don't have to be.
I like doing it. Yeah. I'm going on a ski trip. I've got a ski pass. I will ski this winter, but I can't imagine.
Pass or what?
I got the. I think I might got the Icon, or I can't remember.
Rich dude one. Going skiing.
Let's go skiing in Colorado, dude. I'm going out there.
You got the pass? You get the pass, Liam?
I will get the pass.
Britt, which pass did we get? Do we have the Icon or the Epic?
Cheers.
Buy Modelo.
We have the Icon.
But the only draft strategy.
I'll go to that.
Buy Modelo.
So the biggest thing is that I currently live in a one bedroom apartment where I have this office as my living room, and so I would enjoy having an office.
Can we all bully Pat to move so he doesn't have to pay an extra $200K in taxes? Be good friends to Pat and everyone and bully him to move out of New York City.
Did the Jaguars just run a 2nd and 10 draw to Jermichael Hasty? I'm sorry.
Ben,
I'm
your
still
friend
watching
move.
this game.
He needs to move.
Did that just happen?
Yeah, forget the tax benefits. What Fisher says here. Move somewhere.
I was a teacher in New York City. You pay city taxes too.
You do pay city taxes.
I'm pretty sure Pat has probably thought through some of this stuff, Liam.
I am thinking through, and I'm meeting with people who.
I'm sure he's on the fence about some stuff. It's a big move to just.
It is. I will say I've not necessarily been a plan ahead person much in my life. I'm kind of more of I'm an in the moment person generally.
Hey,
and so
Pat,
now I'm having to think through some stuff.
Have you thought about staying in New York, buying a 400 square foot studio apartment and going to Whole Foods once with your winnings?
That is what it would be. That's accurate.
It's probably not that much of a joke.
It's not a joke. It's not a joke at all.
Yeah, but you'd be across the street from that Whole Foods.
Going to Whole Foods once.
Dude, I was really excited. I mean, I'm pivoting again, but I was really excited to watch football again today. Like excited, but like sort of nervous. It's just weird. Obviously, I think all of us as football fans have had a weird week. I'm all the way back in now with Jacksonville kicking field goals on 4th and short twice in the red zone. They just ran a 2nd and 10 draw to Jermichael Hasty and then punted a couple plays later. They are absolutely blowing this. Like, this is their shot to go to the playoffs. There's no aggression whatsoever.
I think they're good too. Like, I think they could upset one of the big 3 in the AFC if
They're a good team. It's like, this is a bummer. The other bummer is Lawrence Jones wide open in the end zone earlier, and that's what people are going to talk about. He missed that pass, and that's why they lost. But really, it's like, this is a lot of bad decisions. Anyway, back to Pat waiting $2 million.
Well, Mike was saying I'm not a spur of the moment guy here in the comments, but I think I am. I'm not necessarily spur of the moment, but I am sort of I live in New York so that I don't have to think ahead. So I can be like, I feel like going outside and doing something, and then I am outside and there's stuff going on. Like, that's my whole
spontaneity is your whole thing.
Spontaneity, yeah. It's like that, but not like I want the built-in. As soon as I decide that I want to do this, that thing is available rather than like me planning and putting it, kind of setting things into motion so that I've never been good at that. Now I will plan things like I've done like several, multi-week vacations.
Is this a cry for help, Pat, or?
No, it's not a cry for help. I'm just talking about
This sounds amazing. I mean, love my wife.
I'm a
I live in the suburbs. I've not had spontaneity since college. Like, what you're describing sounds incredible.
Yeah, it's collegey in that's like the draw of New York is that like it is kind of like college where you just like, you know what, let's do this. Let's the nights build like whatever. You don't have to think. You can have great nights that aren't.
But you don't have to choose
like let's go to this bar
Town, Massachusetts, or like Sleepy Town, Vermont. You could choose. I don't know. Miami.
Nothing would compete with New York. Literally.
I do love New York.
Anywhere
Stephanie
in the
Miller
world.
saying, do I need a personal
I think a
assistant?
1-year vacation in Miami would be okay.
That would work.
Miami might be fun.
That's pretty good. That was a good city to pull out when I said nothing to compete with New York.
St. Petersburg, Florida, pretty good city.
Miami might be fun.
Yeah.
Where are you even living right now? Where are you right now, Liam?
I'm St. Pete.
Okay.
Is that's near Tampa?
Yeah.
Have you been there since before
St.
you
Pete's
won $1
going
million?
up. Huh?
Have you been there since before you won $1 million, or did you move down there as a result?
I was a chess teacher in New York, and then COVID hit, and I went back to Florida, and then I moved to St. Pete because I went to college here.
Oh.
So when
nice
I won,
alibi for a guy who won $1 million. I like that. That vaguely checks out.
Yeah. IRS. I'm sure the IRS is checking in on the ship chasing.
Well, if they were going to watch one episode, it'd probably be this one.
We got 2 millionaires, 2 fantasy football millionaires. Everybody, we need all our agents on this.
Just name some of those summer streams. Ship chase. So throw off the scent.
Max wants you to move to Puerto Rico. I mean, I don't even want to imagine what Pat's.
I do like Puerto Rico.
in Puerto Rico, though.
I've been to Puerto Rico several times. It's a great place.
Your internet's holding up pretty well these past.
It's crazy.
I've been impressed. Yeah. Liam, have you been to the Dolly Museum?
Yeah, man, it's really good. I haven't been since college, so I want to go again. I tried to go and it was like too full. It was overpacked or something. They wouldn't let me in.
Now,
wow, a lot of love for the Dolly Museum here.
I will say that you asked like what the funniest comments and the funniest things were here.
Yeah.
And there has been a recurring suggestion. There has been a recurring suggestion that I buy a pickleball team, and I want to give.
I mean, Pat might have won $2 million, but I still control the knobs around here. I mean, there are some things that are just a bridge too far, and bringing up that word on cash game week of all
Game
weeks.
over Zets. Game over Zets will be the name of the team, as
How
suggested
much
by
is a
your buddy
pickleball
Mike
team?
Zakarian. Game over Zets.
Game
Will be the name of
over
my
Zets.
pickleball team.
Disgusting. I want to.
That's amazing.
Now that I do want to look into. I don't know if anyone has any information on the price of pickleball teams.
I
And,
would be willing to grind and try to join the team.
Okay. All right.
Justin Herzig, also pretty good at pickleball.
I do. I also quite enjoy pickleball. It's very fun.
You guys are just going to become
Move
all-time.
to St. Pete, Pat. Save the taxes. We can play
Now,
pickleball.
hang on. You said Justin Herzig likes to play pickleball, and you play pickleball, and I play pickleball. Now, that's a weird coincidence for all three of us to have.
This is a tough trend they're discussing.
I feel like
there's anything to that?
one thing tonight is supposed to be a night about celebrations, and I feel like it really got lost in the shuffle that I did finish 5th in the red zone on DraftKings last week. And
Why did you take his thunder, Pat?
I've been asking a lot of questions tonight, and I don't know if you guys have kind of questions for me.
Yeah, what did that feel like, Pete? How was that?
I don't think I have contemplated moving to Austin or Miami just because of like the tax benefits. Ultimately, I do think I'm going to stay here in Boston. Had some hilarious conversations with my family. When I told my dad that I won 5,000, he didn't believe me. But I was like, Dad, it's true, man. And it's just been a surreal week. But if you guys have any other questions, I'm happy to answer it.
You consider swapping off Ayuk in the
No, I mean Ayuk is like one of the low advancement guys you kind of put in your flex there, just kind of knowing that a lot of the field isn't going to have him, and he was definitely the guy you needed in that contest. Any other questions from the panel?
I mean, while we're discussing other big hits, we should mention that our NFC team with Leone, we should have mentioned when we were on, ended up in second place. We advanced to the 10K buy-in. Last year, listeners will know the 5K buy-in, we won it. This year we were in the 10K buy-in. We got second.
Is it top 3 get paid or?
Yes, top three.
Top three.
Yeah. We more than doubled our money slightly.
Yeah.
Gretch, did you do the math? Did we have a chance at
Is
first?
it like 60%?
We had a chance at first if we would have made 2 different lineup decisions. We had our tight end position was a mess after we lost Pitts. This is a Trey Lance, Kyle Pitts, Breece Hall team. They got second in a 10K 12-team league. I mean, that's pretty cool. We grinded it out. But we had Trey McBride and Jelani Woods at the end. Played Woods if we would have played McBride. We did discuss that one. The one we didn't discuss would have been benching Garrett Wilson for Brandon Ayuk. But if we would have made both those swaps, we actually could have came all the way back.
I don't think you're ever benching Wilson, but the McBride.
I don't think we ever would.
With Mike White back, Mike White played so bad, and now they're actually benching him this week. Like he's just not ready. He's not healthy.
Do you know the worst part about benching McBride? We had the Tyler Algier week 17 correlation.
We did.
Oh,
McBride is why I won the 555.
Really?
Wow.
Love it.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
With the Kelsey team. Kelsey, McBride.
Man, Pat, we were in the 555 with a good team with the Ship Chasers.
We had McBride in that team as well.
Barely missed out, and we had McBride on that team. We might have been giving Chess Liam here a little bit of a sweat, but we missed by like what?
That was
like
a Jefferson team, though, wasn't it? So we wouldn't have won in the final week.
That would have got us to the final week.
That's why I was so low on Jefferson was the Green Bay matchup in the frozen tundra. That was pretty obvious.
Yeah, Jair, man. Jair got him.
Liam,
we lost at the end of the regular season. We got third by like a few points. And that was a Kyler team.
There were wild cards.
Kyler was on Monday night. Kyler tore his ACL that game.
The 555 didn't fill about 100, about like 5%,
right?
10%.
Oh wow!
So they had wild card teams fill in.
We weren't good enough to get to the wild card.
I didn't get any wild cards either.
We were extremely close if Kyler Murray would have had a good Monday Night Football and McBride. Those are the two guys we had left. And Kyler.
I had a lot of Kyler. What do we think about Kyler? Like, I don't think it was bad process to be in on Kyler. That was just terrible.
I'll tell you what I think. We should have drafted Hurts instead. That's kind of what I think.
Well,
in hindsight, also
like, is that being result or like I think
it wasn't bad process. I think now we have to update our priors.
The Falcons got the car.
Well, he's not gonna be healthy to start the season.
17.
Right.
Like, that was a pretty appealing matchup to be like in playoff formats. I want this team.
Yeah.
I think.
Sorry. So FF Disguise, we should bring this up. Go Bills won back to back.
Yes.
Yeah, we gotta shout
Which is
those guys
They
out.
did it.
Unfucking believable.
And
To
it's
win
not
back
even
to
the
back
first
in the main
time
event.
because didn't I'm forgetting his name, but didn't one guy win
Was it Abe? I
the
think
football
was his
guys
name?
twice in a row?
He won the football guys twice in a row. The
Yeah.
Go Bills guys told me, one of them, I believe, mentioned to me, I might be saying this wrong, so don't hold them to account, that they are the first to win back-to-back in the main, which is cool.
They have to be. I mean,
It's
Which
such an
it's-
accomplishment.
I
people
think
don't
I'm like
know-
the first to win 2 best ball tournaments, but like
Stop
back-to-back
it.
in football guys, back-to-back in the
Come on.
main.
There it is. Bingo card.
That
Bingo.
was the one. The
Bingo.
first to win 2 best ball tournaments.
Well, I don't know. Like, did best ball were huge best ball
I
tournaments?
think
out
Justin
there
won a
for
best ball
2020?
tournament last year. So
Yeah.
you're not even the first because he won Best Ball Mania 1 and then it took.
There's our boys in the chat. Both Nick and Sean are watching. Nick Constantino, Sean Stutzman are both in
Hell
the
yeah.
chat saying that's
That
a
Congrats,
will
fact.
guys.
never be replicated.
Congrats.
You guys are the shit. But I mean, 1.5 million, not as impressive as 2 million, but it's okay over the last couple of years. Okay that you won 500 million or 500,000 last year, $1 million this year. It's okay relative to what Pat did, but
Liam, was CSU Ram chasing you down in one of those DraftKings contests?
Yeah, I'm
He
gonna
was.
make a video in a bit here, probably like Tuesday or something on it. But
Did you ever
You
think
got-
about letting one of the little guys? Get a win?
well, that's why like. I mean, one guy got real lucky where he was like never gonna hold second, but I still think I would have held on. But basically, he needed 65 points between Burrow, Higgins, and Chase. Like they needed to score those amount of points. But I also had Boyd, so that could have grown.
The best part is he's serious.
I don't know why you guys are hitting on me for hey, my 1,000 subscriber YouTube channel needs the pub.
Oh, now you're coming on here just to plug your YouTube channel.
Anyways, no, he got I'm actually gonna have him on Monday to talk, but he was in a bunch of finals, so I don't exactly know. I think he got screwed in the 555, but maybe he broke well in other spots. I don't know. And then a different Peter Jennings won the best ball contest on NFFC, and I thought it was CSU Ram,
It's not?
but I'm happy I learned that it's not because
Wow.
now I don't have to.
Why are
I
you
saw
happy
that
you
too.
learned that?
It was like, is Pete playing over there? That's funny. I didn't know.
I just
I was gonna
assumed
ask
it was
him, I
him.
like, dude, are you grinding this? Like, it was $125 best ball. So it's best ball for the first 10 weeks, and then it's managed,
Wow.
which I
Dude,
kind of
love that. Can we do that for the
I like that a
FFPC?
lot.
Yeah, God, I want to do that for every league.
Right? Like, was then you're like, okay, do I have a sweat or not? Now let's lock in.
Yes.
Here's
that
an
sounds
idea:
awesome.
manage leagues, but best ball. I mean, that's.
I did 10 managed leagues this year, and I hated it. I hated the.
I tried-
the
I tried a dynasty league this year that was managed, but with best ball scoring for the first time. Like you can do waivers and stuff, and I didn't like it because it was best ball. I didn't. Pat, are you in that one?
I'm with you in one league. I
Which
think.
one is that?
I'm
I'm in FFPC's best balls are.
And
like
I'm with
that.
you, but I didn't know there were waivers, so I just
Oh,
kind
they
of
are
let
like that.
my team.
They are like that.
Ride.
FFPC's best ball dynasty leagues have waivers.
I didn't like that. I mean, I like this idea of waivers at specific points. Another thing we've talked about on the show before.
I like that idea, too.
back when we tried the Fantasy Football World Series a couple years ago. Was how it was like they split into quarters. Like, what if waivers were just like every third week throughout the year? Or every other still feels like
That
a
would be
lot.
kind
But
of fun, man. I would be
week
into that.
3, week 6, week
That-
9, week
that's
12, those are the
optimal.
waiver runs.
Dude, think about me revealing the bids for a quarterly waiver contest. I mean, it would be
Ooh,
Oh
electric.
man.
That would be so electric.
Did you
Plus,
feel
like-
that main events were harder this year, or did you guys?
I sure
get
hope
bad-
so.
Or did you guys get
that's-
bad draft
we're
slots? Or
searching
what
for
I
were
hope they were
excuses.
harder. Yeah. We didn't.
I
Have
mean,
a-
it really
we
is
didn't have a great
crazy
year.
their team that won this year because that's a team I would have made to the finals and been like, all right, well, it's got him a home stack. Like, let's see how it goes. But it's not like, I listened to your episode interviewing them, Ben, and it really is like they won this team through like game theory this year versus like having a super team.
Yeah, it was a totally different thing than last year where they really hit the draft. I mean, they had Debo and Cooper Kupp and Chase and Jonathan Taylor last year. Their whole freaking team was all the league winners. And this year, their team kind of
It was
sucked.
good management. It was
Like,
good
they took
management.
Allen Robinson in the 4th round. Like,
They
I'm
played
sorry,
McKinnon
Sean and
over
Nick,
Fournette,
but you
week
guys
15.
drafted like assholes to win the main event.
They managed their way there. They made the right start sit decisions.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
and
They
that's
benched Fournette
what's so
week
cool
15.
about it. If you can do it both ways, I mean, that's incredible.
Liam-
Similarly, I was just thinking, people are saying, congrats, Pat. I want to do another Pat moment. I was talking to Sean the other day. He made a comment that Pat might be the best dynasty writer in the industry. I think that might be true. I
They do
called
like
it.
dynasty.
He's
The-
retired from that now.
The
I'm not.
walkthrough is the best in-season article in the industry. I don't
Except
read
in week
much.
18 when he phones it in.
Yeah, well,
I don't-
phoning it in. The call got disconnected, my friend. The call was disconnected.
I don't read much at all during the season. I talk about that a lot. I checked in on the walkthrough almost every single week because like I wanted to and I didn't have the time. Like I don't know how to explain this, but I didn't feel like with stealing signals and everything I'm writing, I feel like I want to be detached from fantasy football somewhat and spend time in my life. But like I made it a point to check in on that as much as I absolutely possibly could because it's so fucking good. That's in-season management leagues, and then you're the best ball king. So what the hell? Dynasty, best
Cheers.
ball, in-season, you're the man.
And to buy Modelo RB draft strategy.
Into cloud
Down
jump.
in
That's
Florida,
delicious.
we do longboards.
Mm.
Which I still have
Chill,
the
bro.
bodega sticker on. It's cost $4.99 at the
I'm
bodega.
I'm going to
Cloud
Vegas
jumper.
this year. They drafted the winning team in Vegas. I'm gonna be out in Vegas.
I mean, we're there every year. Punting it off. Come join us.
I love
Y'all didn't do like a 10% equity swap with all your action? Ooh, that was a mistake.
No, we did. Yeah, we just haven't finalized the paperwork on that.
We gotta get that paperwork sorted.
Whose quote is that, Anthony? They wrote me off. I ain't right back though.
That was Geno Smith.
Gino.
Gino
That's
had
right.
so many good
Oh.
quotes this year.
Future.
I-
It needs to say Geno Smith and then another line. And then
I am gonna
future-
that lasso style put that up on the wall of our pickleball wall.
Yes.
Stop it.
The fucking goat.
Yeah, no, if we're gonna plan every year.
Trevor,
I feel like our
Trevor
ship
just
chasing
asked if he
weekend
can
gets
pay
here.
me to follow him around as a hype man. No, because you're not as cool as Pat. Like it's not
Oh,
hard to
wow,
hype
Trevor.
Pat.
Shots fired at Trevor.
Yeah,
Trevor, just tip $2 million, bro.
I mean,
Yeah.
when you're as dope as Pat, then you get hype like this.
sorry, Trevor, you're too poor for a hype man. is what Brett just tried to
Wow.
say.
So, I mean, I didn't mean it as an attack on
my
you, Trevor. I
bad.
meant it as a compliment to Pat.
Now I want the victory tour if Ben ships like the main event or something.
Me too, man.
What am I?
Yeah.
No, that's not happening.
Why?
What
Ship
am I
it.
gonna hype myself?
Why don't you
No.
ship it? Come on.
I mean, well,
We
we'll
want it.
ship it. Yeah, that sounds
We
good.
want
All
it.
right, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Let's fucking do it.
Yeah, next year. What Pat? Everyone wants to know the pizza party plans. There was even talk. We did say if we won the main event that we would do a ship chasing yacht party or get a cruise ship. I mean, you got to at least promise us like multiple toppings, like at least pepperoni.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah. The
sausage.
toppings.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys want sausage and pepperoni? We're gonna do that.
Yeah.
We can like if there's like extra for double cheese, no problem. Don't worry about that. We're gonna this pizza party's gonna be so good.
I mean, really? What? I mean, Pat, I might even want fucking anchovies, man. I might.
Oh,
Anchovies. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a little.
Oh, there's a pizza place in Vegas.
Okay, we'll
I
do it,
think
we'll do it.
Barnwell posted this, and I really wanted to try it when we were there. It's the only other time I've been there since. That does like a triple pepperoni pizza, and it's like a deep.
Holy
dish.
shit!
It looks so fucking good. Oh, are you not talking about the pizza? Or are you
Sorry, I'm excited about pizza, but the Jags just had a pick six.
Oh,
Dude,
But
you
depending
are
on if
ahead
it
of me by a
stands.
lot.
you're ahead of me too.
The
Ooh.
Jags would have
Oh, it's
scored
a
a
fumble
touchdown.
return. It hit the
Yeah.
ground. Okay.
Oh.
Oh no.
It
No,
looks like it
no,
was a
it's not
forward
pick,
pass.
though.
Uh-oh.
Was that fumble or not?
Good pie is the triple pep in the chat. I think that's like a $60 pizza though, so Pat can buy that one.
Yeah.
All right, we'll
we're
get some
not-
good pie. If people
we're
want
not
the good
worried
pie, we'll
about
get the good
the
pie.
cost.
Now, deep dish. I'm not a big deep dish guy. Are you guys into deep
Go
dish?
Jags.
I don't know if it's deep dish or not. I can't even remember. It was like it looked so fucking good. Is all I remember. This triple pep, whatever it was.
Wow, ruling confirmed. Jags touchdown.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ, what do you got? The
Leone.
AP there?
I hope he
What's
hedged
up?
a little.
You got
I
the
have a
AP
combination.
there? You're like, you got the high speed right there.
I got the stream. I got the chat. I got TweetDeck. I'm triangulating information in real time.
I was updating my app and it was behind you. So like how am I just in a different like time zone of some sort? Like how do you know this information before me? I feel like I'm literally like behind you. in
Jags
time.
money line got up to like over plus 200. I wonder if he hedged. He was talking about maybe at plus 200 hedging. I hope he did, man.
We
Dude,
are going to be
don't
doing
ever-
something fun in Vegas, by the way. So, you know, to the people who didn't make it out last time, make it out. It was fun.
Jags live line
It'll be even more
last it
fun
was
this year.
posted that I can see was plus 245.
What
Like, almost
did you
250.
feel the live draft rooms were different than online rooms, or is it just like as far as the picks being made, or just you know?
I didn't
obviously
find them to be really any different this year from the August
They weren't
draft.
that different. Yeah, they're normally more different. They were a little different, but there's normally like a big difference. Like the year that Jerick McKinnon tore his ACL, he
Yeah.
was drafted in the second round in the live draft.
Like a
Yeah, I
day
mean, that-
after the news came out.
Yeah.
that could happen.
No, I think it was like weeks. Like they were clearly drafting off a draft guide.
Yeah, it's so
You know,
bad.
like an outdated draft guide.
How
Can
was
we
that
also
not
just
a
say
pass?
that Jerick McKinnon, remember when we were all drafting him early that year when he was going to be on the 49ers? I mean, talk about being justified there. Trust the process, baby.
For sure.
Well, dude, you talked about him
Talented
all
guy.
offseason as this year's Fournette, as a guy who we saw in the
Yep.
playoffs, how he fits so well in the offense. You made some really good Jerick McKinnon arguments this summer, Pete. Like,
Yeah.
you got me on him by being like, we know their offense runs the best when Jerick McKinnon's at running back. We all knew Clyde Edwards-Helaire sucked. We wanted to talk about Rojo. It's amazing how quickly Clyde Edwards-Helaire, even though he was like top 20 in fantasy, just was like, we're benching you. Like, he was scoring
Like a lot of
touchdowns,
sharp
and the
people
Chiefs were
around
like,
McKinnon.
we don't want you anymore. And Jerick McKinnon ended up doing the run that you described he could do at the most important time for the fantasy season. You fucking nailed that.
I mean, Ben mentioned our 10K team. Like, we had no business cashing in that team. Kyle Pitts, Breece Hall, Trey Lance. Like, those were three of our top 7, top 8 picks. But we getting Tua on waivers. We got McKinnon on waivers. I mean,
We drafted
fucking-
McKinnon. And
Did
Algier.
we draft McKinnon? Kept him the whole
and
time?
Algier. Yes.
And Algier.
wow, we kept Algier.
Shout out us.
Yeah.
Shout out
It's
us.
just, good manager, I did check our draft recently, and we took McKinnon and Algier back to back
Oh, did you guys win the 10K?
in the
Is this
13
No,
and
we-
14.
No, we finished second.
Oh, did
We
you guys
also
get second in
drafted
the
P
10K?
Ryan and carried him all year, Pete, and we started him a
Little
couple
reverse
times.
bit
Got like
there.
a 30 game out of him.
Yeah.
At one point. Good, late round running back drafting. It was a big part.
Now, the wedding narrative. Remember this narrative, as Paul points out in the chat? The
I remember
invite to the
that.
wedding narrative?
Ooh, yeah. I don't know.
CEH was not, right?
No, he was.
Oh, he was.
This was a reason to draft him, as I remember it.
This McKinnon talk is a 2023 James Cook tweet. Love that comment.
Ooh.
He
James
has a
Cook
nice-
looks good, dude.
He has a nice little playoff run, and then we're tweeting this in 2023. I can see that.
I think the Bills have been saving him for the playoffs too. Like, as someone that watches every minute of the
Wait,
Bills
Steph's in
game.
first?
That's what I'm trying to.
She was talking
see.
about having she's shipping Showdown, she said.
Oh,
I know. That's what I want to see. What Steph's sweat is. Steph, let us know
Yeah,
what your sweat
I'm in
is.
Showdown. I don't see. Is her name Big Ty C,
I'm not sure.
or is it for the 500K? Because I'm in that. Let's see.
That was, she said she was in first 755. Was that after the fumble recovery?
Yeah, 3 minutes ago.
Is she hobos for 500K? No, I think she's super shorty, right?
I don't know her username. Steph, let us know. Super shorty.
Super shorty.
What is she in?
What's the contest?
Out
for?
now. She's in fifth. She moved out. She's in fifth, she said. She's
What does
right
she
there.
need? What do you need, Steph? Basically, what I'm gonna have Pat and Liam speak in tongues,
Right.
and they are going to manifest this. for you. Tell us who we need,
Gosh.
Steph. Tell us who we need. Who is the guy you need?
Anyways, while we figure that out, I think the Bills have been saving James Cook for the playoffs. You know, like they routinely have maybe Cook just cannot pass block, and that's why Singletary's in. But they like routinely flex their running back to like the sideline as like an outlet pass, and Singletary is
Not a good receiver.
It's not his.
Like-
that's not his thing.
he like gets like 2 yards always.
Yes. All right, Steph up to third.
Go, Steph.
What do you have, Steph?
What is the
who's your
contest?
lineup? Type out your lineup. real
Liam,
quick.
I thought you said you saw her in your contest. Do you see her? Can you screen share?
I don't know is she in DraftKings? Is she in Underdog? What is the
the
contest?
big DraftKings. I'm guessing
Super Shorty is the username, Liam.
the
for
biggest
500K?
tournament on draft.
No, I just
$10.
know her that's her name from the Discord. I don't know. I don't see Super Shorty. Let me look.
Someone drop a link in the chat. I'll pull it up if you have the Gamecast link.
100K play action. She
Okay.
just put in
That's the big $3
Maybe
one.
that's
I
the
think.
big
$3.
$3.
Yeah.
DK. Are you in that one?
I'm
I
not
would
in that
never
one.
I
I'm
would
not
never
in that one,
condone
I
that.
can't.
I was only playing Showdown double ups, but like shout out you know, for people who want to.
I'm only
Just
playing.
game grind.
Fuck, I gotta work on my shell. Shit.
Yeah, dude.
it's getting late.
Now, how
buddy.
many head-to-heads have
Saturday
you
night.
posted?
So I don't post. I'm the one who knocks. I'm the one who accepts. I think I've received 134.
No, that they're
head-to-heads.
knocking for you. If you accepting
Just
is opening.
The spirit of
point.
the statement. the
Great
spirit of the
point.
statement still
No,
holds.
it's the opposite of the spirit of the statement. If you post, you're knocking.
I
Just
do
moves
not.
on.
I do not need to post.
You
that
believe this?
is-
Pete? He's trying to do comedy now. He's the 2 million man. He's trying to get you on your bits now.
I'm just genuinely confused because you said you're the one who knocks, but knocking would be here's my games.
Here's the thing too. A lot of people are sending me these friend requests on driving. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to accept head to head. I accepted it, John. $50. Things not going well over on Underdog, buddy.
wow.
How much action do you think you could get sent in a year of accepting? And
I
like
kinda-
someone like McLovin or whoever's not allowed to just like post you infinite. It's just
I've
You got-
received 142 head to heads this week so far. So I just don't know.
What's
if
the biggest one? What do you?
I haven't gotten more than a 109. I haven't gotten more than 109. No big boys have come out to play.
Stephanie has Captain Kirk, Derrick Henry. I think Slot says. I'm assuming that's supposed to be T-Law. Jags, DST, Bullock, and Hooper. She said sack because
She has
Jags, DST.
she has Jags. So what do you need?
I mean, if the Titans score, it's got to be like Hooper.
Okay.
Someone link the Gamecast in here so I can pull this up.
Would Hooper be good? Oh, probably not, because it would mean good things for Dobbs, and that would probably elevate other people.
Paul
Isn't that
said he
Dobbs?
revoked his friend request because he knows you didn't want it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
That is mature of Paul.
I'm not here to fucking be friends, dude. I'm here to flip a coin with you and give DraftKings the rake.
Oh man. Now, I'm like non-bit. How do you feel about your cash game shell?
Well,
Dude, I tried to build a DFS lineup the other day, and I'm like, who's resting who? I've not been plugged into week 18.
here's the thing about a shell is I don't like to get anchored to something on a Saturday night at 11 p.m. I'd rather have a few beverages and wake up and open my third eye early Sunday morning.
But where are you leaning? Like, what's the optimal construction? You know, is it?
You want me to give this
It's
is the
obviously
thing.
Sam Howell. I mean,
Yeah,
how
but
cheap
one
is
of
Sam
your
Howell?
losses.
Are
this
you
week?
punting a quarterback?
If you're punt at quarterback, you're playing Russ. You're not
How about
playing
you
Sam
give us
Howell.
two of your like want plays, and you have to
Ooh.
decide between two of them.
Two of my want plays?
Two of your wants, and you're like, I
So
either want
here's
this
a
guy or
want.
this guy.
I want to play Jonathan Williams at 4,300, but it might be wrong. Another want play? I want to play Dallas Goedert at tight end, but it might
Ooh.
be wrong.
Now, how much
Or
is
if you're
he?
trying to pay up?
What's his salary?
Yeah, I need to look.
Wow, I thought you'd have. These
Have
all
you
off
thought
the
about
dome.
rolling out a
This
GPP
is
team?
release the bids in parentheses
I mean-
shell. Jameson here in the chat. That's great.
Look, I don't want to bullshit you guys. Ultimately, like 2 minutes before lock, I'm just gonna run the blended floor optimal and just
Floor optimal. Wow,
Oh,
you're running floor
Pat,
optimal.
come on, yeah, floor optimal.
That's
I
how
thought
you
you'd
get
still
the
get a
cash
little
game
ceiling
show,
in there,
buddy.
you know.
Yeah, ceiling's only for GPPs, man.
You guys want me
You
to
gotta
tell you
get
free
ceiling
square?
in cash, don't you?
Do you guys want to know a free square in cash?
Yeah.
Do you want a real free square or you want a fun free square?
Both.
Can we
the
get
fun one first. Actually,
real
don't
free
tell us.
square-
We'll guess. We'll guess.
Okay. All right. Okay, two names.
Josh
Two
Allen
truths
or
to a lie.
Jalen Hurts.
I mean that's an interesting decision point.
All right. Is it
Very
can I
serious
guess
cash game grinder speaking. I need
Is it-
2 names.
Tyler Algier?
So that's okay. I was gonna say Tyler Algier and Kenneth Walker.
Okay.
One is an actual free square.
Aren't you worried that the Rams are going to be motivated to try to shut
You
the
can't call either
Seahawks
of those
out
guys
of the
free
playoffs?
squares. They got to have. I haven't even looked at the salaries, but they've got to have salaries.
Kenneth
Walker's like
a free square.
63.
Algier's 5,600.
Okay.
Here's the big decision point. Can you play
Algier's
two
the
Falcons
free
in cash?
square. Algier,
Can you play Drake London and Tyler Algier together? That's what the cash game grinders are considering this week.
Two Falcons sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
I would rather roll out
I
ceilings.
spent
He's
way too much
4,900.
of this season trying to figure out why the Falcons' offense was fucking Kyle Pitts.
I think you
who
can.
Was pretty good.
I don't know. A 30% target share of 150 yards isn't that much.
Ball game, they're saying. That's
You
it.
guys stick to best
Zach,
ball.
what'd you win?
I'll fucking stick to cash games.
Hey, that's fair. That's fair, Pete. I haven't played a
Oh
dollar
man, I
in
feel
cash.
for Leone.
I'm bummed for Leone, man.
Floor
Wait,
optimal. We'll definitely have two.
Steph seems psyched.
Steph,
Why
what
did he
happened?
check down on 4th and 13? I just saw the play. Wow.
Damn, I feel bad for Leo.
Me too.
Yeah, I
man.
did too. I really hope he hedged that because he had the 200 he was looking for, but he might have just went to bed.
All right, Steph, let us know. Bated breath.
Waiting to update. They're gonna kneel. T-Law's gonna lose
You know
some
what?
yardage on these kneels. So don't get. I mean, if you're only like a fraction of a point up, you're gonna lose like fractions of points. Unfortunately.
Hang on. I just realized I can just be an adult and pull up this contest myself.
You can?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can go to live
Yeah.
contest.
What
and
did you
then
guys
find-
think about benching Malik Willis?
Where is she?
Had to?
I mean, he was.
Or-
No, she said 100K play action. Wrong
Oh.
one, I think. This was 250.
I didn't realize you
Ben-
could just pull up contests. I thought you had to be in it.
Ben, what are your thoughts on Malik Willis? getting
Madden
benched?
stream. Oh,
Oh, is that the game?
view live 100.
100K play action, right?
Yeah, that's got to be it. So she's tied for
Shorty's
fifth.
in fifth.
Oh
Okay.
no, she's done
She needs
950. What's the
Lawrence.
winner taking? 7,500. That
10K. Okay, for up top.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Shorty. Wow, I didn't real man, dude. This Christian Kirk 1 point off the bonus.
Oh,
Although I think everyone in front of her has.
Kirk and the captain.
yeah.
Look at this Randy Bullock here.
Need a little more on Austin Hooper.
Mm.
Could have used an Austin Hooper catch on that last drive.
This is a good time to say send me a head-to-head. Revert Z top. I am trying to get $1,001 down this week so I can become the other 2 millionaire here on Ship Chasing.
The deposit king of the deposit
Now, you
kingdom
would-
is
now-
trying to deposit $1 million to play head-to-heads.
Now, in order to claim $2 million, Pete, you would have to be calling winnings money you put at risk.
I mean, I don't want to get into logistics. I've already talked
It'd
with
still
my
be just, you know.
lawyers about it.
You really gotta get $2 million.
Someone, I am gonna have to go work on my shell in a little bit. But someone wanted to do a mitten draft. I feel like that'd be a fun
Let's
way to
do
end the
it.
stream.
That'd be a-
Some mitten draft.
Yeah.
Don't start it yet. I got to pee and grab a beer.
Yeah, go ahead.
But
Buy
have
Modelo.com.
Pat describe, I don't know, what it's like to have $2 million again.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll give a
Pat.
shout out to Jacob Sanderson, who I was on stream with the same day I drafted my winning team. We did
Wow.
a pod later that night.
Wow.
Yeah, and I imagine that maybe I was drafting that team in prep, trying to get ready for a pod.
Pat, I did want to tell you, as I know you maxed the contest, and I just wanted to say, if I had 150 lineups, which I did, but I also would have won if I had your 150 lineups.
Well, that is true, Pete. You would have won. If you had
What
my
did Josh
150.
Dobbs just do that people are upset about?
I don't know what Josh Dobbs said.
I don't know, man. I've been a little distracted, Liam. Just to be completely honest.
That's fair. Pat, our champion, bro. Have you gotten in any Twitter fights with randos? That happened to me after.
No, I'm trying to stay above the fray that way. What are you drinking there, Liam? What do you got?
I got a longboard island lager.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It's pretty good. Been in the fridge for a while. Clearing it out.
Dude, Dave Grennan Showdown.
Dude,
Or
Dave,
2-gamer.
congrats.
Love that for you. All right.
Are
You
you
guys,
trying to get
Blast
a-
off
a-
next year,
guys-
Pat? What's the plans?
What's up?
Are you gonna blast off next year in these?
I guess so you talk me through this, okay? So you win, you get the money in early in the year in January. So then,
And you-
do I have to fire shots? Do I have to take
you
some
keep
chances?
it in the ecosystem.
you don't need to
Right.
fire right in January. The contest.
No,
don't
not
open.
now, but it's within the same year, so it's like might as well fire off.
I don't know what's the difference between 1.95 and 2. Not a lot, but the difference between 3 and 2 is pretty big.
I see. Okay, I see where you're going there. Yeah, maybe I take down 300K next year. That'd be pretty nice.
Pat, I think the real question is, why haven't you sent me a head-to-head yet?
I actually do need to send you head to head. I put
not
in
care about
zero. I
April,
put in
Pat?
0 effort, but I do owe you a head to head. I think I'm gonna send you a head to head.
Thank you. Revert Z top. Gretch, while you were gone, we were saying we're gonna do a gauntlet draft and take Zeke in the first round, just kind of get a unique setup.
I think that's a great way to approach it. I've been
Gretch, you
arguing
might have
this.
to you might have to carry the weight a little bit because I'm working on my cash game shell right now.
Should I send you the $6.25 now?
Yes.
That's good. That's good.
Yes, you should. One thing, Liam, I never got to tell you because I was trying not to mush it, but I don't know if you knew this, but the team we drafted on
I was
my
wondering about
birthday,
that team.
dude, we got bad beat. We were about to advance to the semis. It was a Burrow double stack team, and I was sweating it with these guys, and I was going to be like, I didn't want to break your heart. And then when I realized we lost, I was like, fuck it. But the team we drafted on stream, and then I went and checked, Liam, and you had sent me the money, the $6.50 for the team. We almost had a team in the semis that probably would have had a chance.
So are you telling me I'm $17.50 short for the $35 min cash right now?
Fuck, that's a misstep on my part.
Wow, dude.
Collect by Pat from Pat. Pat is kind of paying out all of this.
Okay, people want to shit on the split buy-in bit, but
it's not a bit.
It's a lot better
it's a
than
way of
getting
life.
offered a piece of pizza, like imagine if you chopped up the $2 million team and it was like, well, I didn't give you, love Justin, but I would be tight about that.
That was one of the all-time bits. The all-time bits.
It doesn't make a lot of sense in these playoff drafts why the Burrow Chase stack is like automatic. Like you can get that all the time, and it's hard to get the other ones.
All right.
The Bengals are really coin flipping with the.
Who are we
Bills.
doing? The 3 quarterbacks go first here.
Either CMC, Chaser, Burrow, or Dig for me.
Yeah, if you take
Did-
Chase, you're
Read
not
the
doing
ADP
Burrow.
list.
Who do you want, Gretch?
CMC is the easiest to build
I haven't
around.
done any of these. I mean,
Okay.
I'm
CMC
good
is
with
easy to build around. Pat, do you have any thoughts?
I'm good with CMC.
All right, let's do it.
Is this a gauntlet?
Yes, Gauntlet 1 of 6.
I like that take. I like the CMC pick. I like the idea that he's easy to build around. That makes sense.
Yeah, because you can either go Purdy or you can just like backstack with Herbert or Lawrence.
Ooh, Chase Burrow at the turn looks fun. Let's do that.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like, why is that always gifted to someone, but you never get an Allen Diggs? Like people.
So
like,
to me, Kelsey's definitely the pick
Yeah.
here, unless you want to do
Kelsey's
Higgins.
the pick. We
Well,
wanna
but
go
he's got
AFC.
a bye. Does that?
he has
I
a
mean, he's
bye, so
But CMC's going to offset it, and we definitely want an AFC team
yeah,
opposite.
it's Kelsey
yeah.
or Higgins or
Yeah.
McKinnon. If
But
you want the
it's hard to stack KC, right?
no,
we're
'cause you
taking
can- you
is
can
Purdy
backstack
our
them.
lone QB?
It doesn't have to be.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be. We could go with like a Herbert or something as well.
A start like this, we can still pick, like, you can onslaught an AFC team or an NFC team with a non-Purdy quarterback.
So the
Okay.
Chiefs are officially the 1 seed, right? That's just they're the 1
Is
seed.
that
but
locked?
They got to win. Yeah, that is locked. They won. Sorry.
They
won,
so
It is
they're
locked,
the
okay.
1, and if it's an AFC championship with Buffalo or Bengals, they play the neutral site. Is that what's happening?
Correct.
And we
If the
don't know.
Bengals
Wait.
win tomorrow, the Bengals have to win tomorrow to make that true.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me get this straight, Jake. You said
Sorry,
you just hopped
no.
on.
That won't be true with the Bengals. It will only be true if the Bills win tomorrow. It won't be true with the Bengals at all.
Jake, you're 2 hours late to the stream, bud.
Okay, yeah, it's
Roll
only
back.
those two.
So I think the smart move is to take either Debo or Kittle here. I normally take Debo just for the ADP game, but
Yeah,
any
well,
other-
or also
Yeah,
mix
stack
in if
up.
you want to do Bengals and Chiefs as the back stacks.
but
with-
Bengals were already squeezed. Like, we're resigned to like Tyler Boyd and Hurst there.
sure.
Debo season. Let's
I think
do
we
it.
got
I like
Debo.
Debo. Debo's the easiest.
Dude, they leaned on him a lot last postseason. They know he's talented.
He's
He
good.
did
He's
not
a
have a
stud,
great year
man.
this year, but they're going to lean on it.
He's a guy I took too, which was like a leader for regression.
Ooh, I like
but
Stephanie's point. Get Jags guys before they rise.
Some of us have been loading up on Jags for weeks, sweating.
yeah, that was a big
Yeah.
win for my 35 Gauntlet
Yeah.
teams.
Because what happens is the Jags in these teams, when these fucking idiots snipe you on your stacks and you're like, fuck it, I'll just draft 4 straight Jags to end the draft. Like, that's been the safety net. in
But there's
basically
a
all these
difference
drafts.
between betting the Jags will win. Sorry, we're on the clock. And then now knowing it. It's a lock.
So
There's
who's taking
definitely a
Kittle?
point.
Less is more. Get bent, dude.
You can get
We
Ayuk.
could
though.
also do
Yeah.
we could do Gabe Davis and James Cook mini if we want to do that with the Niners. So we're playing a Niners Bills or Niners Chiefs.
Who's our quarterback?
Brock Purdy. And then we're gonna throw in like a Lamar or Herbert.
So
or whoever.
here's why I take Ayuk here, because there is this like squatters' rights element here where if someone else gets Ayuk, then they
Yeah.
are also up for taking Purdy, and then you can find yourself in a dicey
There's only
spot.
like one other team that needs a quarterback though, or maybe
Dude,
the Hurts.
Liam,
the Hurts
how many
and
of
Mahomes
these
team
have you
too.
done? You think people stop at one quarterback in these, Liam? These guys
Well-
fucking rip 2 QBs everywhere.
As someone that has their username well known, people just like try to blow up my stacks all the time.
Yeah, the Mahomes team takes Purdy like 40% of the time in my drafts.
He's going Cousins though.
Pat, have you been drafting a lot of these, or are you just like, what's the point? I already won 2 million.
No, I was drafting a lot of them, but like
Then you won 2 million.
I don't know, man. Like, I like to be dialed in. I like to think I'm dialed in. I've got the edge, and I just have not been dialed in
Yeah,
this week
fair.
at all. So, yeah, I think my exposure on the playoff stuff is going to be pretty light.
I did 5 this week. I'm not.
I mean, what's the point? It's chum change.
I'm gonna be doing the FFPC playoff contest. I'll
I
tell you
think Eagles Chargers is one of the most chalky builds I've seen. It's so comfy to do. I've done it multiple times.
I've
see
done it
so
too.
many Eagles Chargers builds.
It's very easy. Yeah.
that. Has the Eagles
Uh,
prices changed at all? Yeah, Juju makes a lot
Juju
of
for
sense.
me, unless you think
Well, will you?
I mean,
Well,
look
there's
at
a Kittle.
can you
There's a
look at the
Kittle on the other
boards?
side
Like,
of this.
Who are their quarterbacks? Look at the board.
Burrow and Dak. This is a badge.
They don't
Can
need
we
Purdy
trust
then.
in
So
the badge?
yeah, take.
Let's trust the badge
Trust
because
is a fucking badge. Dude, this less is more guy is taking Purdy for the content equity, and I'm just telling you right now, dude, I'm not gonna fucking tilt it.
Well, also we could have gone Cook.
it's better content if you take him with the second pick.
because no one really should be taking Purdy.
Okay.
Is there any chance
We got
Purdy
him.
gets benched for Jimmy
Wigglesworth?
G when he's back?
Wigglesworth?
I just
I don't
don't
think
buy
so,
this
right?
narrative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that HJ Wigglesworth? What's an HJ? You have to ask. You can't afford it. What's a ZJ?
All right. We lock up our QB here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
This is a pretty hot team.
This
Let's
is a
just
good
run it
team,
back.
man.
Pre-COVID Super Bowl. Chiefs Niners.
So are we good? We're good on Niners, right? We probably want to tack on some more.
What do you think the field does more? Do you think they build a lot more only 5 people reach the Super Bowl, or do you think they build a lot more onslaughts? So do you think they do a lot more like 2, 3, 2, like that type of stuff?
I think there's more mix and matching from what I've seen. Especially in the Gauntlet. Because
you
way
have
less
to.
onslaughts. Yeah.
Not necessarily because you want to, but because you kind of have to, yeah.
The Chiefs are an easy team to onslaught, though, with the MVS Hardman Tony run out. Because we can also take Pacheco here if we want to just go down this
third
path.
string running back to Rojo.
I mean, I think Rojo's live at the end of this draft at this point. Get that touchdown. I kind of like Pacheco here.
I'm also open to taking Lamar eventually, but did Andrews go? Yeah, Andrews went, so that's tough. So yeah, just do Pacheco, I guess.
I think Pacheco.
But we're basically saying we're going to be able to advance with just the Niners right now.
Well, I think we can go for another AFC team if we want.
Yeah, that's
we can
fine.
even go for another
but
NFC team because it's just an advanced play, right?
I
Jacksonville
prefer to
season-
play it is just an advance, but I'd still like to leave yourself outs for another Super Bowl matchup.
I believe the Jags and the Chargers are playing in the playoffs, so one of
And
those.
ideally, you'd want to have one that wouldn't necessarily line up with
The Chiefs.
KC, yeah.
Yeah. So
I
we could
believe the
set up
Chargers or the Jags are guaranteed.
we could set up Jags with ETN.
Yeah, let's do Jags.
I like
Jags
that.
over.
I mean,
Ravens.
we'll have a little bring back. KC, if the Jags do win as a 4 seed, you're probably getting Bills Bengals.
We should have been
in a
open
2-3.
to skipping ETN though with CMC.
I like this because then you get a Jags KC shootout in the second round. It'd be nice.
I agree with you, Liam. But who are you taking there if you're setting up Jags?
We're just going Trevor in the pass catchers.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Only because we had CMC.
Yeah, I agree. We still, though, like with the flex, with Pacheco on bye, we're still.
And with what Ben's saying, if Jags Chiefs are going to meet, that guarantees a team to the
conference.
I wasn't paying attention when we took the Chiefs' third best running back. I don't know what we were thinking there.
Oh, man, wow, Tony's getting steamed up.
I think Jags from here out, no more Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm probably with you. So,
unless you want to do like a Christian Watson,
is Zay Jones available? For real?
Yeah, all of the Kirk went, but Jones and Ingram are available.
Where did Kirk go? He went on the other side. So yeah, take. We definitely want to hit Trevor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind doing.
But take a pass catcher first.
Yeah.
Or just take Trevor and we'll
take Trevor and then we get a pass catcher for sure.
We get one of these. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in theory, none of these guys with Burrow and Dak should be taking Trevor.
This is a fun team, other than the Chiefs' third best running back. I mean, yeah.
I'm with you, Ben. If we could swap Pacheco for Tony,
that's only because we took ETN, but
or even if we went ETN and then we got Kirk.
Yeah,
more of a Jags thing.
Although Tony went before Pacheco. Wow, I didn't even notice that. Are you guys? I always go Ingram, but I'm open to either.
I'm Ingram.
What do you
guys
massive ceiling?
I've seen Ingram like game plan for in the Jag offense. Like Zay Jones is
I'm into it.
Is a
I would be Zay. but it sounds 3-1.
Zay Jones smoked spice and fell through a window with his brother.
That's why you draft him.
That is
I mean, you
just
just made my point for me.
Bandit, you need to have a few more figures in your account balance to be doing Rojo bits. You know, we're sub 4 figures in our account right here. So
yeah,
it's
you can see
just
that on the
GTO.
screen. We know it's not Pat that's running the ship.
I mean, to be fair, Pat's computer can't handle screen share, so that's how he got out.
Do you want to draft more? I'll fire one up. You guys want to fire one up?
Yeah, hang on. Let's see the screenshot. Let's see the ballots.
It is kind of funny that we're not using daily Rojo.
Let's fire this up.
Let's see this. Let's see this. God
All right.
damn it. I didn't even know decimals could carry that many spots.
I mean, just for good luck. This guy.
Oh my fucking god.
Oh my god.
That is absurd.
Getting this gauntlet? You guys want to do a gauntlet?
Yeah, on
I
you.
mean,
On you.
whatever you think, man.
you,
I can see your bank account.
Zoom in real quick, Pat. I want to see this.
My god.
Where did the 2K come from?
I zoomed in too much.
Too much mobile webcam.
Did you win like a puppy
Too
or
much.
something? Where did the 2K come from?
Holy shit.
What's crazy is they just show 2M when you're winning. They don't do the
All right, guys. I don't see any Venmos coming through. What's up?
I'm with FF Disguise here. I'm just the eggplant emoji right now.
You guys think Pat's gonna withdraw or just let that chill?
No, he's rolling that over. We already discussed it.
Keep it in the ecosystem, Pat. It's good for the community.
Yeah,
it's good for the
rip a
community.
bunch
What's
of
on
pick'ems,
man? I'm
dude.
firing off a gauntlet right now.
Pat, if you put 2 mil into pick'ems, you could have 4 mil.
Oh, we're up, guys. We're up. No, we're not. Where's the sell highlight?
Oh yeah, thanks for zooming in, Pat. Appreciate that. Struggling to kind of see some stuff.
I like that when you zoom in too much, it just tells you about the mobile app.
Jesus Christ.
I've
$2
never seen that many
million.
comments in one place. Swear to God. There's 2.
How many people have told you, yeah, but it's not really 2 mil because of taxes?
Pat, does that you
wait,
pinch
that
yourself
crowd
when you
will
look at
come.
that? Like,
It is a bit pinchy, yeah.
right? Like what
You
the
wanna go
fuck,
Mahomes?
man? Your account
I
has
don't
$2
like
million
going Mahomes
in it.
too.
You do or you don't?
I don't really, but they get the buy. Like I'd
Let's
rather
do a
go
Hurts team.
or
Let's do Hurts
Chase
and-
or Chase.
Or Chase. Chase is fun, but we're not going to get Burrow.
Well, is someone really going to go Burrow T?
Yes, someone always goes Burrow.
Yeah, that's just bad for them to do without Chase.
Can't even get the 101. Yeah, great.
Like people, just FYI for the people out there, you should not be spite picking someone who takes Chase because you wanted Burrow. That's not good for your team.
Uh,
I like her.
You all right, Pete?
yeah. No, Paul said he wanted us to screenshot this. So we got it here. Our eyes are down here.
Beautiful. Well done.
Oh man.
Where is that?
Higglesworth is back in the draft.
How are you not
Jeez.
retweeting that shit? There's one. I was the first retweet on that. You guys, come on. You guys are following the show and you're not retweeting that? Good Lord.
Oh, we didn't get AJ Brown. What a bummer.
I like Higgins here.
Higgins or Smith? Get the stack?
I like Higgins, but who's gonna the inside guy shouldn't take Smith.
Yeah, no, we don't want to do. We want to do an AFC guy here. I'm with Higgins.
All right.
Or Ekeler. Or McKinnon.
Ooh.
The problem with Ekeler, and tell me
Let's
what you
get the
think about
stack,
this.
and then we can take the.
Well, it's just
Like-
running back is a little bit more.
No, I agree, Liam. But I've taken Ekeler in the Gauntlet in like the 5th or 6th round in like 10 drafts. I just worry
AJ Brown
about
went
those
one
teams.
pick before us?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I agree, Pete. There is a lot of cheap Ekeler teams.
Higgins.
But back then, people also were like drafting Josh Allen not as a one-off. You know, like people were doing weird things back then that they aren't doing today.
Higgins or Ekeler.
Running back
Higgins.
is hard, so either Ekeler, Mixon, or Higgins.
The fun thing about going with the Bengals
think
stuff is I
Higgins.
do love taking P. Ryan late.
Perfect. I like that.
I've made a Modelo stack.
Dude, that's
Cheers
like
to you, man.
quad Modelo
How
draft
have you not
strategy
gotten
right
a
there.
shoe sponsor? That should be. You got to get that next year.
A what? A chew sponsor? I quit chewing.
Yes.
I quit. Did you say a chew sponsor?
Yes.
I quit chewing.
Oh, you
1 month
did.
ago. I've
Oh,
gone a
wow.
week without chewing.
Congrats, man. That's actually
Yeah.
big.
You guys have not seen me spit in a bottle once this entire show.
That's
Do you
it
have
true.
the snuffs now? Like the.
No, I'm chewing the Nicorette gum and stuff right now. But
Okay. My friends.
I'm
all
doing
do.
good. I'm doing good right now.
Nice.
With it.
Glad to hear
That's
that.
all. Congrats, man.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm
That
willing to
is-
start kissing.
It's mostly because I got bronchitis and I was like, this is not fucking helping. So I was like, this is a good time to quit. Like, I mean, two things that you want to happen, not have bronchitis and also quit chewing can and collide. You just go for it.
We lost out on Mixon.
I would do James Cook, Knox. I would do.
Let's just toss this guy a fucking Bills bone, dude. He's been just champing.
He's
at the
just been
bit for a
shouting Bills.
play.
Well,
He's just
we
been
need to
chatting.
do two AFC guys right now.
Yeah,
Well,
give
we
it
should
to
do
him.
Sanders, shouldn't we?
With
We should.
Hurts. Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
fine, but you're eating another guy without a bye.
Yeah, but we got to get
If you
to
grab
3
Cook,
here.
Knox,
We
you
gotta
know you
get to
got
3
guys
with
in
our
your
We can
lineup.
get to 3.
I'm cool with Sanders too.
You should be. Fucking homer. What's the scene at Highland Park going to be like tomorrow, Liam? Electric?
There's your Bills. Put the Bills in the queue.
Dude, the Bills are gonna win by 100 tomorrow for their boy. You kidding
It's
me?
going to be so good.
I almost fear for the Patriots.
You guys want to go to James Cook?
It's a little bit harder now because we don't get a guarantee a skilled guy we want, but
Do you take Knox and then guarantee one of the running backs?
we have no running back right now. So I
We
would
have
grab.
Sanders.
I would go. I'm like confidently Cook over.
All right,
Singletary.
let's do Liam's nuts on the table James Cook take. Dude, I should block you for saying it's a trap game for the Bills. Jesus fucking
Who are we even playing? I don't even know.
God. Jacoby Myers and Tyquan Thornton.
Well, I think the Bills have the decision. They can lose on purpose and play the Patriots in the playoffs, or win and potentially face the Dolphins. However, they get then they would get the 3 seed versus the 2, so they would have to go to Cincinnati. So they probably still want to win.
They say they want to win, yeah.
Also, the Dolphins might not make it anyways, even if the Patriots lose.
All right, so what are we thinking about here?
Did we do a chess stream this year, Pete?
No, because I got too demoralized, and I don't normally suffer from anxiety, but when I did chess streams, I did.
Exactly what I planned when I reached out.
You're like the last person that I'd
DM.
expect to suffer from anxiety. But
The
like,
most
playing
nervous
chess.
I have ever been on stream, ever,
Oh,
wow.
was doing chess streams for
Oh,
like
man.
50 people watching.
I like to think I'm pretty relaxed too. Hey, Pete, do you want crippling anxiety? Want to do a chess stream?
Do Knox. It has to be Knox. Other than
It has
that,
to be
the other
Knox,
stuff
right?
gets
Yeah,
skipped,
but the intern guys got Allen.
So we can still build out another AFC stack here. Or I mean, P. Ryan definitely should be a pick for us.
Can you look at the inside team? Who's he building?
In
He's
Boyd,
Bills.
yeah. We can look at Boyd too.
Yep.
I think
He's gone.
we should just grab Herbert here and just lock up a quarterback points.
The
Or-
real nuts on the wall play is
Is that they
play it
lose.
as they lose. But I know Liam likes to play best ball with a condom on. So
Well, we have no quarterbacks right now. So
what are you talking about? If the Eagles lose, we have Jalen Hurts playing in round 1.
Oh, you're saying, the Eagles lose to the Giants backup.
But what's the pick? What are we doing?
Open
We
up
do
your
Andrews?
third eye, Liam, and
Andrews? Grab Andrews then, and we can backstack. I like that better. Or grab Kirk, and we grab Trevor.
every
either
team we're
Andrews or
drafting
Kirk.
right now, better versions of these teams have been drafted weeks ago when I was ripping Gauntlet
That
drafts,
doesn't
so
that doesn't purely matter though, because the randomness of who you
Sure,
get placed with
yeah.
in the playoff pods is way more in playoff contests.
Pat, I feel like you're half on their level because you have drafted some of these. I'm fully not on their level, but like, I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. Like, you guys have done enough of these that like you have a legit like thing down.
But also, like, normally I'm used to us all shouting about who to take, and in this I'm constantly like, but who do I click?
What do you want me to pick?
I forgot
Yeah,
that
there's-
Pete wasn't driving. I've been talking to Pete.
I mean, that's how I prefer it. Look me in the fucking eye, bitch. God, I still have to write the newsletter and build out my cash game shell. This sucks.
I still need to send you. I'm trying to figure out how to make a head-to-head that I can
Just
send you.
figure it out, dude. What's your account
Pat,
name?
would
Maybe
you
I'll
have
break
won-
my.
Would you have done that if you didn't win $2 million, or is this like a pity bit now?
I was challenged on stream. Pete challenged me to
I've
send him a
challenged
head-to-head.
Pat on Twitter multiple times. He's dodging me. He's being a nit.
I literally like sitting here just trying to enjoy my night, and then Pete's challenging me to head-to-head. So you know what, Pete? Let's fucking go. Let's go. I gotta figure out a fucking cash game lineup.
Greg just built a Modelo pyramid. He has done enough tonight.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man.
Amen.
I don't drink that much anymore. I'm on Modelo like 8 right now.
I don't either. I do on these.
Dude, I'm gonna have to go take care of a baby in a second. That's what's disgusting.
I got a random cat in my house. I was telling you guys this earlier.
What? Wait.
Wait, we're on the clock. We're on the clock.
Take Lamar.
You
This
can
is
say
a story
it.
for another moment.
This is a.
I've never
condom.
had a pet in my life.
Might not be ready for week 1. Or,
This is.
the week
It's
for
why
week.
we just gotta
If
play
he's
this
not,
as
he's
Eagles
not.
lose.
We just took Andrews though.
Just take P Ryan to start. Just take P Ryan to start.
The Josh
Yeah, I'll
Allen
take
team is
P.
not going to take P. Ryan.
We
They're not gonna
just
take
don't need
Lamar
a second
either.
quarterback in this build. Are we trying to win
He's not gonna-
100,000?
They're not gonna
Are
take
you
Lamar
trying to
though.
get-
He's got Josh Allen.
You're trying to build solo Jalen Hurts teams.
Dude, if they lose a fucking course, who's outscoring Jalen Hurts on a week-to-week basis in the playoffs?
Giants are resting their starters,
You know who also was
and the Eagles
turning over
want
last
to
week?
win.
Were
And
the
they won
Titans
by,
versus
like,
the
40.
Cowboys, and then they hung with them. It's the fucking NFL. Anything happens. No one thought the Eagles would even be in this spot this
Your
week.
third eye is wide open.
I'm trying to win $100,000. You should maybe try it sometime, Liam.
Yeah, and I want to lock up quarterback points for round 1.
Then get Tom Brady. Let Pat jerk it off to Tom Brady again.
I think Lamar for the stack, unless there's another.
Oh,
guy
we already
that
have Andrews. Fine.
Yeah.
I'm not just trying to grab Lamar. Giants are plus 17. That is great. Pete would know that. He's grinding cash.
What was the spread tonight? Some of us took Titans with the points.
Not me.
Oh my God. Go full screen.
What?
This is our new.
No,
this is our
go
new
full
baby
screen to
cat.
Kretsch.
Oh. So tell us how you have a cat.
kid has-
Where did you find
Holy
this cute
shit.
guy?
She was. I mean,
the
I
cutest
think
kitten
it's a
I've ever
he.
seen.
We went to the vet today. We found him in our yard. Oh, we've never been pet owners ever. I'm a dog guy over a cat guy, but look how cute this thing is.
Insane.
That is
It's really
so
cute.
That is
Climbing all
wildly cute.
Yeah, there's a lot of beers.
You got to name it Ship or
My
something,
11-year-old
right?
pointed out there's a lot of beers on the table. You got
Yeah.
it? Okay. Yeah, we got it. He's good.
Okay. Yeah, it was a little bit of a yeah.
Love you.
Ben's kids are just off screen taking the cat.
They're like, look at all these beers. Dad's drunk again. What an
Your
asshole.
kids used to bring you beers. Now they bring you stray cats. I mean,
That's right.
That's
My
progress.
wife found that in our backyard, went underneath the fence, and just like came in. I was actually
I think it's
recording
Quez
stealing
or-
bananas.
Quez
And she's like, "Hey,
or,
we're cat owners now." I'm like, okay, what?
Yeah, I like Hurts too. Who's the second string running back again? He was just on screen.
For who?
The Eagles.
Oh, Gainwell.
Yeah. For me, it's one of these four. Like,
Well, we have
Dobbins-
Sanders, so I feel like Gainwell's not.
Yeah, I don't want to do Gainwell with this one.
Well, Gainwell's more for the negative correlation with Lamar. I mean,
Now
Gainwell's
you want to open up your third eye?
No, Sanders is more the negative correlation, and Gainwell's the positive correlation with Hurts.
You guys have already placed your bets against
I like
the
J.K.
Eagles.
Dobbins best, but
yeah, Dobbins is my pick too.
Hurst is second best, and I also like Quest.
Even with the 3 running backs, you still like
Yeah,
Dobbins?
fuck. We fucked this team up with Lamar.
As auto drafts,
The
JK
Eagles are going to be the 1 seed.
Dude, Pat, as an investor, only 4 gauntlet drafts so far. With that balance, you fucking nit.
How poor,
Pump it
Pat,
back
how
into the
poor.
ecosystem.
I'm sorry, man. I've had some stuff going on.
Auto draft
dude-
it, bud.
Fucking my balance is draining now.
Oh my god.
Pat's gonna feel the need to deposit just to make sure the balance stays over 2 mil.
My balance is draining. Like, I think the first thing with, like, if you win a ton of money is the first question for anyone is, how are you going to spend it? And the next question, like, if anyone who's ever put themselves in that position is like, what if I spent it all? And Pat's like, oh no, I did too many gauntlets. My balance is draining. What am I going to do with all this money?
Pat, what's your Venmo?
Get out of here, man. I will send you a head-to-head, though. Do not send me a Venmo. Do not send me a Venmo. I'm going to be mad at you if you send me a Venmo.
Do it. Do it.
Do not do it.
Do it.
Are you Pat Kerrane on here? Or is it something? Is it Daily Rojo? Oh, there you are. Oh, nice. You have a picture of you and Murphy.
Oh, there were a lot of connections between Pat and I. My middle name, Pat. My
That's
parents'
right.
name,
Your
Pat and
parents'
Patty.
names? Murphy. My dog's name, your last name?
My last name, Murphy.
Pete, I will Venmo you once I beat you in this head-to-head, though. So why don't you save this Venmo?
Oh, you want to do it offline and avoid the rake?
Oh, should we? Should we do it off? I would have to make a lineup now. I was gonna.
Yes.
Oh, come on. Come
There it
on.
is. This is how you keep it above board here. Good thing I'm Venmo rich, baby.
I mean, if we think the Giants' backups
hope
are
that
beating
wasn't
the
public.
Eagles, why aren't we just stacking the Giants if they're such a juggernaut?
Oh,
I didn't say they were a juggernaut.
One of the
I'm
first
saying
times I
draft
was
like you're
on,
right.
one of the first times I did a draft with you guys, I sent Pete money and he just sent it back. And he was like, fuck off.
Oh, it's because
I
I'm a
think I
normal,
remember
well-adjusted person.
Yeah. It was like, I sent him like $10 for whatever it was and he just sent it back. He was like, no.
All right, I do have to go. I got to work on my shell. I got to run the blended
I gotta
floor
go too.
optimal.
I mean, we want this stream to last forever, but we do have places.
We do have to
Congrats,
move on.
Pat, best fantasy football player of 2022.
We'll do.
Yeah, it is the classic 11:45 hard out that
It is a hard
we all
out.
have. Pat, in all seriousness, absolutely incredible that Rojo scored a touchdown today. And,
Just unbelievable. You know,
we're all very proud of you.
Best moment of the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. It honestly
week.
was the best moment of the day.
Yeah.
Gretchen, any final words here? Modelo Tower, Stray Cats.
I think he summed it up beautifully.
Yeah. Liam said you were the best ball drafter of 2022.
21.
We will be back this week for some FFPC playoff content. Until then, we love you. We'll see you guys next time.